Get ready for a powerhouse of inspiration. Principal Baruti Kafele. A highly regarded educator and a transformational leader, Principal Kafele has spent over 20 years in New Jersey's urban schools, making a lasting impact as both a master teacher and a turnaround principal. Under his leadership, the mighty Newark Tech transformed from a low-performing school to one of America's best, as recognized by U.S. News and World Report 3 times. A recipient of the prestigious Milken Educator Award, Principal Kafele is one of the most sought-after voices in school leadership and equity. He's delivered over 3,000 keynotes, workshops, and seminars across the nation, authored 13 books, including 7 ASCD bestsellers, and continues to empower leaders through his live-streamed AP and New Principals Academy. Please join us in welcoming the extraordinary Principal Baruti Kafele.
And we are live. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to week 280 of the AP and New Principals Academy. Let me see who we got checking in here this morning. We got, where we at? Oh, okay, here we go. We got Constance Sherrod down in Apparel, Mississippi. We got Dr. Rachel Edowekit, Maryland, President, Maryland Association of Elementary School Principals. We got Hassan Sabri down in South Jersey. Good to see you. We got Dr. Sonia Matthew, NBCT, down in Maryland, Assistant Principal of the Year for the state of Maryland. We got Takesha High in Virginia, Grace Castaneda in Texas, Ronald Pugh, Cedar Hill, Texas, Nadira Coley, Brick City, Newark, New Jersey. Leslie Akintunde is in Sterling, Virginia. Rodney Richardson, Hampton, Virginia. Just took my Hampton shirt off to put this one on. We got Robin Snowden, Fresno, California. Harambe. I was just in Fresno. I flew into Fresno to get to Hanford, California. We'll talk a little about that. Marsha Poe is in San Diego. Lysandra Brackens is in North Carolina. AP Patrick Lawrence is in Connecticut. Dr. Peter Finch is in Yakima, Washington. The queen of the castle, Kimberly Broughton Kafele, is in the building. Dr. Rella Hicks is down in Augusta, Georgia. Robin Snowden. Oh, I said Robin already, right? Otis Kitchen II. That's Principal Otis Kitchen II. Good morning to you back at you, Tampa, Florida. Dot McKeever Jeter, retired Principal Dot McKeever Jeter, checking in from Calumet City, Illinois. She plays a pivotal role in all of the platforms. You know, we're a family. So let me talk about that family real quick. So you got Sean Hurd at 10 o'clock, who was out today, supporting his son, playing a little b-ball in Kentucky. And then you got Create and Educate with Dr. Sheikah Houston, Dr. Tammy Taylor at 10:30. Then you got the AP and New Principals Academy with myself. And then Sunday we rounded out with the PGP podcast with Dr. Madi Moreno. I should say with Josh Tovar and Dr. Madi Moreno. And you know, we call ourselves the Fantastic Four. Josh gave us that name. And I kind of distinguished Saturday from Sunday. So Saturday is Super Saturday. And that's the 3 of us. So it's not just me, right? It's not just any one of us. It's all 4 of us. You know, we're a family. And none of us are the same as far as our content. So I encourage everybody, tune into all 4 platforms beginning at 10 o'clock Eastern time. Several different platforms, but I'm just giving you the Facebook Live. You know, if some of them are on different platforms. We're on 4. We're on LinkedIn. We're on X, we're on YouTube, and then we're on Facebook, right? Simultaneously. Let's go. We got Jacqueline Harriet up there in Nova Scotia, right? Where we at? Michael Benton in Cincinnati, Ohio. Stacy Joy is out in California, Los Angeles. And I got to tell y'all, Stacy Joy has been on here before. I'm sure she'll be back on, but she's been on here before. But she's celebrating 40 years of teaching. Right. So we're talking about generations now. Right. So I'm sure at this point, you know, she's taught the grandmother or the grandparent, the parent, and now the child. Right. So that's a long time salute to you, Stacy Joy. Dr. Marcus Jackson's in the building on a different platform today. He's on YouTube. We got where we at? Dr. Rita Beta. Dr. Alexander, she wrote, from South Jersey. Good to see you. Jersey's being represented in the building. David Bell, Benton Harbor. Good to see you. Think I saw you on the platform last night on the other program. Good to see you. Good to see you. John Herricks is down in Texas. Vanessa Zeskin is in Connecticut. There's Sheikah. I see you, Dr. Houston. Annette McMahon is here. Stacey Ann Barrett is here. There's the other half of Create and Educate, Dr. Tammy Taylor. And congratulations to Dr. Taylor on her new title. I can't say the whole title. I don't have it written in front of me, but Director of Recruitment, I think, in retention and some other things. But she got the big promotion, or she applied, whatever it was. She's in a new capacity. So transitioning. I'm gonna kind of talk a little bit about that in my monologue this morning. So give her some emojis or give her some thanks. She's fam from way back when we started back in 2020. I'm getting ready to wrap it up because I got a lot to talk about today. I'm solo today. Tony McClenny is in the building. Livonia. Where's Livonia? Where's that at? Tell me where that is. Oh no, that's Tony. That's Battle Creek, Michigan. That's where she is. I mean, that's where she works, I should say. Where we at? There's MPA Jaguars. That's Josh Tovar. Wish him a happy birthday, y'all. He just had his birthday this week. Josh Tovar, known on social media as MPA Jaguars. Happy birthday to you, sir. Would you turn about 35, maybe? Where you at? We got Dr. Melissa Jones Chunu in the building. If those of you that may not know, she's now doctor. She's no longer just Mrs. She's Dr. Melissa Jones Chunu. That happened recently, within the month, I think. So if you haven't congratulated her yet, be sure to do so. LaKenya Rowland is in Jersey. A lot of Jersey in the building. Y'all must want to know what I'm getting ready to say today. Where we at? I'm getting ready to close it out, y'all. We got a lot to say. Where's somebody I haven't called? There's Dina Freeman from out there in Queens. Thank you for that email. And Dina and I already reached out to her and let her know. We got a young lady out here in New York City, in Jamaica, Queens, y'all. And she was recognized on television, just doing big things on the news. She has an early college program, but what she did that distinguishes her program, this is a principal in Jamaica, Queens, New York. What she did that distinguishes her early college program from the rest of them in the country, it's called HBCU Early College. So she has a relationship with Delaware State University, an HBCU. One of the first, I might add. And now her students can graduate with a degree. I think it's a 2-year degree. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But from Delaware State University while they're still in high school, right? So you're going to get they get an HBCU degree. Delaware is a 4-year school, so I'm just not sure of that breakdown. I will know soon because I'll read it a little bit more carefully. Right now, I didn't read it. I just saw it on the news and don't have it all up in the noggin just yet. And let me close it right there by formally saying to everybody now, good morning, greetings, welcome to week 280 of the AP and New Principals Academy. Hey y'all, how you feeling? And I'm keeping that in isolated context, right? Just how you feeling. I'm feeling good. You know, it's and it's funny. You know, I keep saying every week I don't want to talk about the world, but it's funny how in the morning when I'm transitioning, because I just less than 30 minutes ago I was in a parking lot at a bagel shop doing my Saturday ritual, which is also a portion of my week's ritual when I'm home. Just sitting in the bagel lot, eating a bagel and drinking some fresh squeezed orange juice. You know, that's what I do. But I'm also in tune with the sports world when I'm sitting there, and also the world, particularly at the federal level, DC to be specific. So, you know, just a few minutes ago, I'm writing this post, like literally just a few minutes ago, about some trash coming out of DC. And now, you know, once I finish, then I got to transition to the academy and keep it upbeat, keep it positive. You follow me? So it's like, because I don't want to bring that energy onto the platform. But you know, it's still in me. Obviously, I just wrote the post. You can see it on Facebook. It's a video, but with some kind of commentary that I wrote. But anyway, but I want to keep this positive because you all are doing some heavy lifting, man. I bet you, you know, now that everybody's in school, you know, this part of the world, the Northeast, just went back last week. But I bet you there's some folks out there who are already stressing, right? Some folks out there who are already like, oh my God, and I got 10 more months to go, right? I understand that. I mean, it's real. It comes with leadership. It's not unique to school leadership. It just comes with leadership. So I say all of that to ask you the question, because I didn't even get to my announcements yet. I'm solo today, you know. So like Luther Vandross said, I'm just going to take my time singing these love songs, man. I don't have to rush it. You know, I'm just taking my time singing these love songs. That's what we do. So listen, hit that share button, hit that retweet, that repost, that like button, tag somebody, text somebody, let them know we're here, we're live, we're ready to go. But let me ask you these two questions that I'm kind of going to refer to on a regular basis. This is like I'm adding this before I get to the announcements with no commentary. What were your wins this week, right? And regardless of the number of days you were in school, and that's right, Monique, Dr. Monique Jackson, Dickens, you said one day at a time, and that's what it is, right? But again, what were your wins last week? What were your wins? Drop those in the chat for me. You know, I read these at the end of the later on in the day. So what were your wins? Like what's something that you did under your leadership? If you're not in leadership yet, you know, whatever your capacity is, because I know it's a lot of aspiring people to tune in. But what were your wins? Like what's that thing you did that you said, yeah, I'm proud of this. You know, I did something good for young people, for staff, for parents, for community, to enhance my leadership, you know, whatever it was. Drop it in the chat. What were your wins this week, right? Because it's so easy to get bogged down into our challenges, right? I don't even want to use the word losses, but our challenges, our obstacles, our pressures, our demands, right? Those things that burden us, those things that we find difficult. It's so easy to get bogged down into that we lose sight of the wins, of the victories, of the successes. So I'm building into the platform that I'm going to remind you of that every Saturday, to make sure that you never lose sight of your wins, those things which make you feel good about what you do. What were your wins this week? Drop those in the chat. I'll be reading them later on. And if it's a whole lot of them, then throughout the weekend, but I will be reading. That's what I do. We don't just have a platform and I don't pay attention to the people that tune in, right? So that's the first question. And then the second one that I'm adding to this, what will you do next week that takes your leadership to new heights? Right? This my new open. Instead of how y'all feeling, and I get into a thing about Washington, this is where I'm going for now on, you know, until I come up with something else. What will you do next week that takes your leadership to new heights? Drop that in the chat as well, or just process it. Maybe you got your pen out, maybe you got your journal out, maybe you're taking notes, maybe you're typing your notes, whatever it is. But don't walk into that building without the anticipation of what you're going to do. You remember I did a whole 2.5 hours, my last solo session. Maybe it was the one before last. I don't know when it was, but I know it was over the summer, where I talked about your blueprint when I was fumbling around with the PowerPoint on the platform. Well, it's there. It's on YouTube. Go back and check that out. It's long, but you know, we sharing information. I'm not going to limit myself, you know, whatever it takes. Right. So make sure you check that out in terms of your developing your leadership blueprint. That matters as well. So within your blueprint is that question: what will I do next week that takes my leadership to new heights? Drop that in the chat. Right. And I want you to know something else. I lived these two questions. That's probably why I waited 6 years to share them with you. Right. Long time, but they're here. Right. But I live these questions. These are part of my life. I'm trying to become better. I'm trying to become better. I'm never getting to a point where, okay, you good. Right. I'm trying to get better and better and better at whatever it is I do professionally. Enough said. Let's go. Announcement. Shout out to Mount Vernon City School District. Oh, man, we had a great time at their convocation earlier this week. New superintendent. I've known him for years. He used to be the interim superintendent in Rochester City, New York, and now he's over as the superintendent. So the interim tag has been dropped. Dr. Demario Strickland, a former principal as well. He could be on here right now. I know he tunes in. But being the superintendent, he could be, and the new superintendent at that, he could be like in the office swamped with some work, right? But shout out to Mount Vernon, all of them. So many fam of the academy were in the building. Principals, man, we took a lot of pics, and that was a good thing, man. Always, it's a blessing to see y'all in person, man. It really is. It's a blessing. So shout out to Mount Vernon. And then I jumped on a flight and flew to Fresno to drive to Hanford, California, right? And the Hanford Elementary School District. So shout out to them. I spent a lot of time all day with the administrators, right? So just had a great, phenomenal day with the administrators. The morning was with the new administrators, and then the afternoon was with all of the administrators, so just a great day hanging out with them, talking leadership, talking instructional leadership at that, and then some other aspects of leadership. So shout out to them. But I got to tell y'all, man, the flight home. Ooh, I had a flight. You fly to LA, lay over for a short while, and then fly on to Newark. And y'all know Newark got some issues, man. Newark got issues. The whole country knows that. Matter of fact, the world, people flying internationally, they know. So it was a lot of storms in Newark on Thursday night. That's when I was flying. Man, we got like to Pennsylvania, right? It's like we were getting ready to land, man. Once you in Pennsy, you getting ready to land. That captain came on. He said, it's flooded in Newark. It's raining. There are no gates. So we're being diverted. We have to fly to Chicago. Y'all be seeing me talk about the flight guides, right? On social media. Them flight guides were not with us that night, man. I've never experienced that. I've been flying, I've been doing this work in terms of full time for 14 years. I've accumulated 1.5 million miles since I left my principalship in 2011. Yeah, you heard that right. 1.5 million miles since 2011. So with all that mileage, I ain't never flew across the country, get almost home, and got to turn around. Like turn around and go to Chicago? What am I going to do in Chicago? So I didn't give you the time. At 12:30 a.m. So they gave us these hotel passes. I guess they gave us the raunchiest hotel in Chicago. And oh my God, I said, please don't let any bugs crawl up on me. Right. So, so it was that type of thing. And then I got on home yesterday, but that's just part of what it is, man. But I'm looking around for some bugs. I'm looking around for some mice in that piece, because that was, that was a little bit different. I never did this before. I hope I could speak this, give you this mature talk for a second. This looked like one of them in the old days, some little short stay places, right? So I ain't gonna say what that means. If you know, you know. But if you don't, we ain't even gonna get into it. My mother and my wife probably already like, you can stop that right there. Right. So I'm like, man. So I was a little nervous, man. I think I woke up every 30 minutes. Right? But now I got keynote material, because all them stories they work their way into your keynote intros, all that kind of stuff. So that's that. Let's go, y'all. Welcome to the first timers. But if this is in fact your first time, that means you've missed 279 sessions. And if it is your first time, you're probably wondering, what is he wearing? Like, what is that? That's not the Philadelphia Phillies. They don't wear that. No, we rep Negro Leagues on here, man. That's what we rep on here. The Negro League, it's the Philadelphia Giants, right? So that's what I rep. Why the Negro Leagues? Because some of the best baseball players that ever lived were banned from the major leagues. Hear that word, banned from the major leagues, because they were born in black skin. So they were not permitted to showcase their talents in the major leagues until Jackie Robinson. And it's not like he did that by himself. Branch Rickey, of the owner of the Brooklyn Dodgers, opened that door to let him come in. And then others followed. Larry Doby shortly after, and with the Cleveland Indians, and then just so many more came through, which pretty much destroyed the Negro Leagues, because now you didn't have any more great players in the league. So, there's a positive side in terms of the opening of the majors to black players, but then there's a negative side that something that was phenomenal for black players no longer existed, right? So I rep those leagues, I rep those players every Saturday, whether it be my jerseys, whether it be my t-shirts, whether it be, I got so much stuff, y'all, the caps, everything. This is what I do. And I got to tell you who I feel like when I put these on. I feel like, I don't want to say like the Superman, but I feel like a Superman, right? Because I'm repping what these powerful players wore. So enough said. I haven't talked about the Negro Leagues on here in a while, but it's the 1st of September. So let me get back to it. I know my mother's glad because she's like, man, you didn't talk about them jerseys lately, right? So here we go. So yeah, and then before I get to my monologue, this, man, I walked in there in Hanford Elementary School District the other day, as I said, in Cali. Man, they all had this, man. Man, that just makes my soul feel warm, man. When you walk into a building and you toiled over a book, and then you walk into the building, you walk into the room, and everyone has your book. It's not like you sold it to them. It's that the client saw fit to order them from ASCD, my publisher, and make sure that they have them, and did the book study. They said, we already studied chapters 1, 2, and 3. Oh man, come on, y'all. That's what it's about. That's what it's not about. Writing no book and just so you could feel, I wrote a book. Oh my God. And it's sitting down in the basement somewhere collecting dust in some boxes, right? Or in some warehouse or whatever it is. If you write a book, you want it in the hands of readers. So if there's somebody out there that doesn't have it, come on, man. What you waiting on? This is a book on instructional leadership. And it's written by a credible author, right? So get yourself a copy. Like, go to the other tab right now and get yourself a copy. I will say this, and y'all know I'm kind of taking my time. It's solo day. Look, I will say this. The book industry is suffering right now. It's a Washington thing. So let me not get deep into that. I'll just say it's a Washington thing. So the entire industry, professional learning, books, is suffering right now. I've been blessed. But I've taken a little bit of a hit from, say, a few months ago, right? But get yourself a copy. I ain't gonna get into it. It's enough. I got a smile on my face. Enough. I can't. All right, y'all. I got a monologue today. This one's gonna be a little different. I broached this topic a few weeks ago, but it was at the end of like 2 hours, so all of you weren't there, and I said, let me open with the monologue with this. So do me a favor before I get going. Hit that share button, hit that retweet button, hit that repost button, hit the like button, right? Hit the notifications bell. I should say hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel, AP and New Principals Academy, and then hit the notification bell. Be part of the 24,400 subscribers to the YouTube channel. That's right, 24,400 subscribers. Be a part of that. But let's get into this monologue this morning. It's called "I Quit My Dream Job." ... Twice. Once again, I quit my dream job twice. What are you saying? Listen, y'all. It was never like some, like some people, they wanted to be a principal, a teacher, like all their lives, right? I'm not him. I had no ambition for a very long time, right? I didn't become ambitious until I was age 23. My monologue will be a little longer than normal because I got some stuff to say today. I didn't become ambitious until I was 23 when I got to Kane University in Union, New Jersey. Before that, I didn't have any real dreams, aspiration, ambition, sense of purpose, sense of mission, sense of vision. I was just existing. That's the best I could call it. Like any young man, young black man, I had some kind of dreams of going to the NBA, but that was not realistic. The National Basketball Association had hip hop come onto the scene a little bit earlier than it did. It came on in '79. Then I probably would have had aspirations to become an artist, right? I would think, just knowing me the way I know me. So, but I didn't develop any sense of dream until 23. So it wasn't to become a teacher, though. It wasn't to become a principal. I was doing a lot of reading at the time. So because I was doing so much reading, the first time I had been doing reading in my life, to be quite frank with you, when I got to Kane University. I'm doing reading. I don't mean my course reading. I mean independent reading of African American studies. All the books you see behind me and the rest of them around this house. So my heroes became writers and orators. Those were my heroes, right? No longer ball players. You know, it's like I'll have conversations with people. I missed a lot of the Magic Johnson years. I missed a lot of the Michael Jordan years because I was doing so much reading. I know they were around. I can tell you things about them, but I wasn't glued to the TV the way I would have been had I not fallen in love with books, right? So I missed a lot of that. I can't have the deep conversations that other people can have. I can go, you know, so I listen to a lot of podcasts and I pick up the information that way. So stay with me. So my heroes were authors. My heroes were orators. So in my mind, I said, I want to be an author and I want to be an orator. I want to speak to the masses. That's what I wanted to do. The problem was this: I had nothing to write about and I had nothing to speak about. That was the challenge. I want to do these two things, but I got no story. I got no content. I don't have enough life under my feet just yet. So what's your plan B? I think I'll teach. To make a long story short, I think I'll teach. So I taught, but in the back of my mind, I want to be an author. I want to be a speaker, an orator. So I taught in 1988. And by 1990, I felt I had enough information to share with parents how you can be effective with your children at home. So I wrote a book called A Black Parent's Handbook to Educating Your Children Outside of the Classroom in 1990. And it was published in 91 by me. I self-published it. And it became an Essence Magazine #1 bestseller nonfiction. Yeah, I said that. An Essence Magazine #1 #1 in nonfiction, right? So from there, I got that writer's bug, you know. So then I went back to the classroom and I knew I was doing a great job. And eventually I was awarded for it with Teacher of the Year for the building, for the district, for the county, and New Jersey State Finalist Teacher of the Year. So now I want to be a principal. I really want to be a principal. Go to grad school, get that degree real quick, convince the superintendent I'm the guy. And I become a principal. But I want y'all to hear me, y'all. The topic today: I quit my dream job twice. Well, I wanted that principalship badly. Like I still had in the back of my mind, I want to be an author and a speaker, but I don't have enough life under my shoes yet. So I want to be a principal like bad. Y'all, man, I don't even have time to explain to you how bad I wanted that. Yes, sir. Otis Kitchen, #1 Essence Magazine bestseller. Right? I wrote it in 1990. Didn't become bestseller in 90, but I wrote it in 90 and published it in 91. So I want this thing badly. I'm doing all sorts of things to make sure that people see me. I'm positioning myself in a way that they see me. Do you hear me? Hit that share button, hit that retweet button. So now I'm in it, but I'm still writing books. I'm still writing books. So I hit a snag. Now we're going to get into the whole crux of this topic. I hit this snag, y'all. I ran into this superintendent that we just didn't see the world the same way, man. We didn't see it the same way. We were not compatible. We couldn't work in the same space together. This is just one superintendent I work for, because I work for many, right? Several. So we just didn't see eye to eye. So I was on this vacation. We used to go to the Pocono Mountains every year, right? My family, so all of us, all 5 of us, we would go to the Pocono Mountains every year. And this one year in 2003, we're driving back because it's a drive. You know, you don't have to fly to the Poconos from where I live in Jersey. So we're driving, and we're on Route 1 and 9, and you go over this bridge. And I had to report back to work the next day in terms of my principalship. Principals report back the next day. And I said, oh, God, I can't do it. I can't do it. So I'm driving, going over the bridge. I could see it as if it was today. This was 2003, August. And I said, I can't do it. I can't. I'm done. I felt broken, right? I don't mind admitting that now. So, because we didn't see eye to eye, because I was asked to do things which were unethical, right? Not things I perceived to be unethical. I was asked, or requested is a better word, to do things which were unethical, right? So I said, I can't live this way. And it's not that I ever acquiesced and did them, because I didn't do them, and there hence the tension. See, if I had done them, then everything would be cool. But I wouldn't. I refused. So therefore, we had a contentious relationship. So I said, man, I can't do this. I can't do it in another year. But school starts. It's too late in the summer to look for another job, right? So I go to work the next day. It's an administrators meeting. Hear me, somebody. I quit my dream job twice. We're in the administrators meeting, and I don't know what they said in that meeting. My mind is elsewhere. I am not in the building. This is the first day. You know, those of you who are principals, you know that what that first, or APs, you know what that first day administrators meeting is. It's a whole lot of content there. So I'm sitting there. I don't hear it. I'm like, I'm out. I'm gone. So I get back. I leave at the end of the day. I come back to Jersey City. I go to Staples. I didn't have anything to buy. I just went to the parking lot in front of Staples in Jersey City on Route 440. I want you to hear me, because I'm talking to somebody out there. I sat in that parking lot. I cried because I was broken. I said, I don't know what to do. I got a wife. I got 3 children. They are dependent on me financially, stability, man in the household. I'm broken. I sat in my car and cried. I picked up my cell. I called the superintendent and I said, I quit. He's like, what? I quit. I'm not coming back. So now I came home and told my wife. As always, she supported me. But the reality was, I just quit my $150,000 salary job. I just quit on my benefits. I just quit on the ability to put my kids through college, right? I quit on my resume, because that ain't going to look good on the resume. I quit my dream job. Listen, y'all, I could make this monologue the actual session today. I'm solo, y'all. Y'all work with me, man. I'm trying to get to somebody on this thread today. I really am. I quit my dream job. I worked so hard to get that principalship. So then later that night, it hit me like, what the heck did you do? Can I use the word hell for a second? What the hell did you just do? So I called them back. I was like, I changed my mind, right? Like I'm messed up and I'm doing irrational things, right? Dr. So-and-so, I rethought that. I'm coming back to work. He blocked it. Nah, you out. But it turned out, without me getting into all the detail, all the weeds, he couldn't block it because the board never voted on my resignation. So he had to take me back, because it wasn't a formal resignation. You understand? So I can't get into all the details of what followed, because that would be the whole session. So just know this. I went back. I finished the year. But I was so frustrated. I was a broken man. I was a broken principal. But I tried to be the best version of myself for those young people, which many of them are doing big things today. One of them in particular is the chairperson. We have 2 gubernatorial candidates in this election coming up. He's the chairperson of the Essex County version of her campaign, this candidate, Mikey Sherrill. He was my student back in those days, and he continues to give me credit for his rise. He's been on this platform on the thread as well. His name is Akeem Cunningham. So, and others, Ivana Wade, right, who's been a guest on this platform, and others, right? So they didn't know I was broken because I was still going in there trying to give them my best. Not to mention Vincent Stallings, Dr. Vincent Stallings, who I had just brought on This is my friend from high school, brought on as my assistant principal. I'm not there for him. And I can't go to him because he's there to lean on me. He just came out the classroom. So I'm saying that to say this to somebody. I let it break me. But I'm here to tell you something. You can't walk in my shoes. You can't walk in my shoes. You cannot be me. You cannot let circumstances break you down and force you to leave or quit on your dream. But my session today, mental and emotional stability for the new school year, that's where I'm going to address it. So you got to stay with me on this one. So, but I'm going to say it again. You cannot let people, situations, circumstances, you cannot allow them to break you as I allowed it to break me. I did not have people around me outside of family that could support me, who had been in this work for a long time and could sort of give me that guidance I may have needed to help me to navigate the year so that I could ultimately look for another position, but not tarnish my resume. Instead of calling a guy from the Staples parking lot, the superintendent, saying, I quit. Because that's what I did. That was 21 years ago. I'm not the same guy, right? So now, watch this, y'all. Watch this. So I'm enduring the year, but see, I'm saying like I'm telling you a story, but I'm trying to tell you something too. You got to position yourself, y'all. You got to position yourself so that people in the world, so to speak, and I don't mean the whole wide world. I mean people in your world, that people see you. Like they see your greatness. They see what you putting in. You can't operate in a vacuum. You can't operate in isolation because that can destroy you. You got to be a part of the larger community. So here's the beauty. Remember that dream of becoming a speaker? Well, I was speaking all along locally in New Jersey and New York City. But my work in the school, the parents saw me. The parents admired me. And so did the community. So I had those allies, parents, community. It's just that I wasn't telling them what was happening. But to make a long story short, it got out eventually. And a parent who was one of my strongest parents was associated with another school district. And she went to the superintendent and said, you got to talk to this guy, Baruti Kafele. I want y'all to hear me. Don't miss this. You got to talk to this guy, Baruti Kafele. You need him. So he started calling me. I would not take a call. I told my secretary to tell him I'm not interested. He kept calling. Finally, I said, okay, I will go to that. I will go talk to that young man, that superintendent. I don't even want to call it an interview. I'll just go down there and talk to him. He convinced me, this is the school for you. Lowest performing in my districts, Essex County Vocational Technical Schools, CTE school district. He convinced me this is the place for me. I resigned from East Orange, which is the district I've been talking about all along. I resigned and I went back. That was 2004. I went so I resigned and went to the new school. Long story short, in my year 5, as I said on this platform at the end about a few weeks ago, I was awarded the Milken Award, and the school received national recognition, right? But the Milken Award is arguably the most prestigious award that an educator can receive in all of education. In fact, since y'all rocking with me here, let me just show you the video right quick. Stay there, stay there, stay there. Don't you leave me. Stay there. Let me let you see.
There are lots of jobs that people used to do that are now done through technology. And so as the demands of the workforce change, we need to make sure that the education that all of you receive prepare you to be successful in that 21st century workforce.
When I was in public school, and it was a few years ago, I was very fortunate to have many outstanding teachers. They prepared me well to take advantage of life's opportunities. Now, in our nation today, we do so many things well, but one thing we don't do well enough, and that is support our talented teachers. We need to find new and creative ways to offer more powerful career opportunities for educators. We need to make the pay equal to the importance of the job. And we also need to do another thing, and that is we need to celebrate and recognize the good work that our talented teachers do. It gives me great pleasure to present the Milken National Educator Award to a truly exemplary educator, Baruti Kafele.
Principal Kafele cares about these young people, and I see all the hard work that he puts in and how he inspires the educators to do their job.
We have champions all over this city, from the North Ward to the South, East to West, and in the Central. And today we celebrate one of the heroes of our hometown. I give him my thanks. I give him my gratitude. I give him my love. One more thank you to our great principal.
I'm proud to be the principal of this school. It is a blessing to be principal. I'm blessed to receive this award. And again, Mr. Milken, I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
See, I show you this video. I was broken, y'all. I was. But you know something? Let me holler at somebody out there. Let me holler at somebody. Because you are in a bad situation, you know, whomever you may be, because everybody's not, but let's say that hypothetically somebody is. That doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that you're incompetent. It doesn't mean that you can't do the work at a high level. But it might mean that that's not the place for you to do it. See, there may be somewhere else where you can shine. See, you may be so frustrated, and you may get to a point where situations break you down. This thing broke me, man, because I was requested to do things which were unethical. We're not talking about my competence here. We're talking about you have to do these unethical things. I'm not willing, but I knew I needed that job. I got a family of 5. Right. So I got to figure this out. So eventually make it down to Essex County, North Tech. And now I'm able to shine. I'm able to blossom. I'm able to grow. I'm able to exhibit my talents. And you saw how it manifested. But guess what, y'all? The name of this monologue is I Quit My Dream Job Twice. I only told you one. Let's continue. So when I went to North Tech, my plan was to stay there for 1 year, come in there with them freshmen, and then leave and pursue my other dream, the real dream, the speaking. But you know something? I fell in love with them kids. I said, okay, I'm going to come back for year 2. And you know something? I fell in love with each new freshman class, incoming freshman class. I'll stay for 3 years. I'll stay for 4 years. I'll stay for 5 years. Well, in 5 years, the 5th year, I got the Milken. Well, we ain't leaving after getting that award. That wouldn't look right. So I stayed for 6 years. And then I left. Put your ear to your speaker right now, y'all. Put your ear to your speaker right now. Some of you on this call right now in real time, you know that there's more to you, but you haven't done anything about it. You just know that, yes, I love what I do. And I'm not trying to discourage anybody from what you do. I just want to expand your thinking. There's someone on this call, you love what you do, but you simultaneously know that there's more in you. There's more in you. So, but some of you, you won't dare to take that step into that other thing, which you know is lying within you. It's lying dormant within you. Well, I'm saying to you with my example, I could have rode out North Tech to retirement. I took that school when it was rock bottom and gave it national recognition. But you know something? Inside of me, I said, I want the world. Now that's what you call dreaming like real big. I said, I love what I do. I love every youngster and staff member at North Tech, but that's a school. That's within a building. That's finite space. I want this whole world. I want this whole planet. I want access to the world. Well, guess what? In order to have access to the world, you got to step into the world. But as long as you're stepping into your building, your department, your team, your division, your district, your world is confined to that. I wanted something bigger, but that's just me. I wanted something bigger. I wanted the world. I wanted the world to have access to the work of Principal Kafele. So I quit my second job. I quit my principalship at North Tech with 0 clients. I didn't have any clients. But I said, I know what I want. But then there was this belief I had in myself. I said, you can make this happen. You have it. You have the years of experience. You have the knowledge. You've got the wisdom. You have what's required to go out here and claim the world. And for the past 14 years, I've accumulated 1.5 million miles in the air. That doesn't count. That doesn't even include the number of miles driving those rental cars. I'm a lifetime diamond member at the Hilton hotels. That means that for the rest of my life, if I never spoke again, I'm recognized as a diamond because of the number of times that I have gone to that Hilton hotel. And that's Hilton worldwide. See, so what am I saying to you? What's my message to you? Check this out, fam. I'm not talking to you in terms of you going out and becoming a consultant and a speaker. I'm saying you sitting right here. Let's start with the assistant principals first. So you sitting right here as assistant principal in real time right now. And you've been denied opportunity to become principal multiple times and you're frustrated. And then when I ask you, because I meet these people, then I come to you, are you an aspiring principal? Well, yeah, I am, Principal Kafele. Well, how long have you been an AP? 10 years, Principal Kafele. So what are you waiting on? I can't seem to get hired. So that's a whole different conversation. But I'm saying to that person, then maybe you need to change your tactics. Maybe you need to change your strategy. But you cannot give up, because some of these folks, they'll say, well, I'm just gonna stay as an assistant principal. I'm tired now. I've given up now. I just can't do it anymore. I'm like, no. Your interviewing skills are probably horrible. That's why I got the videos on YouTube. I hope you all know about them. Thoughts to consider for the assistant principal job interview, where hundreds, if not thousands, of people are in these positions because I taught them how to interview. I didn't give them the answers to the test because I don't have them, but I taught them how to show up in them interviews. And now everywhere I go, Principal Kafele, is recent as this week. Principal Kafele, I just got to shake your hand because I'm where I am today because you taught me how to interview. See, you gotta change your strategy. You got to change your tactics. But let's go to the principal. So maybe, you the principal now, but like after doing that, like I always say to people, principalship is not necessarily a lifelong position. You come in there in your late 20s, you come in there in your 30s, you come in there in your 40s, you in the prime of your life. All right, do your thing. But some of them folks, when they still in there in their 50s and their 60s, they slowing down. They not who they used to be. Because and now sometimes it's become a job instead of the passion that it used to be, because they stayed too long, right? Because they couldn't think big, dream big. So like, well, who else is gonna hire me? Maybe you need to be at a higher level position at central office and you have influence over the principals. So I'm saying here, don't lock yourself into something that you've outgrown. Don't lock yourself into something that you no longer have passion for. Don't lock yourself into something that you're not doing the way you used to do it. There's other opportunity out there. But yes, there's a level of risk. I took a risk to quit my job, right? The first one and the second one. But anytime you're trying to move up and do something big in your life, it requires risk. It requires guts. It requires audacity. It requires a bold spirit. It's not going to fall in your lap. Like some of us are lucky that way. I don't know that life. Right? You have to have the audacity to take a risk, but move smart. I talked to you about the blueprint before. Have a blueprint, have a plan, have a journal, do your writing, so that when you do take the risk, you've taken the best possible risk. But if you just going to step out there, I got inspired by Kafele. I'm calling, I quit. You call the super, I quit. Kafele got me fired. I'm getting ready to step into my dream. I'm going to tell you, no, it don't work that way. It don't work that way. You got to give it some thought. But listen, y'all, don't beat yourself up. Don't walk into these places and you all frustrated, you all broken down, you crying at home every night because you know some of y'all is on here right now. And I know I said some of y'all is. I know what I said. Hey, Bob Patrick, that's one of my homies right there. like sometimes when I need to share some tears, I call him, right? That's my man right there, right? So listen, y'all, listen. And by the way, since he's on here, y'all on Facebook, you see the name Bob Patrick. When he graduated from college back in, I would say 1984, 85, I think it was 85. Might have been 84. He made the decision. I ain't working for nobody. He's an accountant. He's my tax accountant. He said, I'm not working for anybody. I'm starting my own business. That was back in 1985, 84, something like that. I think it was 85, maybe 86. I don't know. It was somewhere around there because I graduated in 86, so it couldn't have been too far from there. Here's what I'm saying. That man ain't had a boss since probably high school. That man been on his own as a sole proprietor, as an accountant. He said 1983. That's my man right there. That's my man. He been an entrepreneur since 1983. That means when he was 23 years old, because we're the same age, when he was 23 years old, he made the decision, I ain't answering to no boss. I'm not going to work to answer to somebody. Ain't nobody dictating to me when I go on vacation. Ain't nobody dictating to me what time I show up to work. Ain't nobody dictating to me what time I go to lunch. Ain't nobody dictating to me what time the work day is over. I will call those shots. That's a 23-year-old man who's now 65. See, I'm glad you showed up. I'm getting ready to call you by your nickname. I'm glad you showed up, Robert. I ain't never called this man Robert in his life, right? So we got nicknames. You know, I got one too. We got nicknames, right? So I'm saying this, y'all. You don't have to do what you don't want to do. That's the whole point of this. At some point, you got to quit that mess that you don't want to be doing. Oh, but Principal Kafele, but I do love the children. But at what cost? At what cost? Your emotional well-being? Your mental well-being? No. I don't know. Like, we all congratulated Dr. Tammy Taylor this morning. I don't know why she left, so I'm not going to sit on here and speculate. But I think I could say this, Tammy. You get on here and correct me if I'm wrong. She said, I'm ready to move to another level. I'm assuming that's what it is, because she's still in the same district. And y'all drop some congrats to Dr. Tammy Taylor anyway from Create and Educate. I'm ready to move to the next level of my life. Dr. Sheikah Houston, same thing. She a renowned principal, but she decided, all right, I'm ready to move to another level. See, I'm just saying to somebody at some point, what was once your dream, you got to get to a point where, all right, yes, it was my dream, but I got to go, because I got to go to my next level. I got to go to my next dream. I got to go to my next vision. I got to go to my next ambition. That's all I'm saying. We obviously, y'all, I'm not going to edit this monologue out because it's like an hour now, right? So it's just part of what we're doing today. Listen, so again, I know I need to get to my topic, but I just gotta. I just know it's somebody, because I'm reading y'all's comments, y'all. That's when you see me look away, I'm reading, right? I'm reading your comments. So I'm talking to somebody because they're admitting it. I'm talking to somebody. So I'm going to say it one more time. You may love it, or you may hate it, or you may be neutral, whatever it is. But you don't have to stay if you've got a call on your life that says there's more. That's what I'm saying. Maybe y'all, maybe you hear me better when I say it that way. When you feel that there is a calling on your life that you are rejecting, that you are saying no to, that you are making excuses about and for, there's a calling on your life to step into your purpose, but you will not do it because you're making these excuses. And not to say that I love the kids is not a great excuse, but if you feel the calling is real. I felt the calling. That man kept calling me to go to Essex County. I refused, but his just his persistence. His persistence said, well, maybe this ain't him. Maybe this is him. You hear me? Let me go down there and see what's going on. And I went down there. Yeah, Kevin Hunt, I bought the 3 doctors, but I brought a whole lot more than them too. I brought a whole lot of folks in that school, right? Listen, I'm wrapping this up, y'all. I'm wrapping it up. When this is done, because I want y'all to hear the session too, because if you think this was powerful, wait till you see what's in my notes, right? I ain't even get to them yet. I got 6 pages. I probably have to do this in 3 parts, right? So, but I'm just going to say to somebody, sometimes it's time to quit your dream job for whatever the reason. You know, people say have a backup plan. Yeah, have your backup plan. But don't spend, but see, here's what some people do. They'll spend their entire life constructing their backup plan. I'm telling you what I know. They'll spend their entire life constructing their backup plan. So, see, I got my former student, Shanavia Davis, on here, and she's communicating with my other former student. I love them too, man. Shanavia Davis and Takia Jones, man. Those are 2 of my formers. They know. And let me tell y'all something else. Shanavia was there. All that what I told you before, for those of you who were on in the beginning, when I quit my job, she was there. And then all the stuff that came after that, which I'm not even going to broach it because that's a whole nother hour. So I'm not going to broach it. Just know she witnessed it. Right. But then she came with me to high school. So she also witnessed the transformation. She was sitting in the gym in that video when they gave me the Milken Award. So just picture that for a second. You got a student who saw you broken. She wouldn't have known I was broken, but she saw the mess I was dealing with. And then went all the way to high school with me, graduated with me, and saw the different Kafele. See, what a beautiful thing. I see you, Takia. So they both on here. I see y'all, man. I gotta get y'all two on here with me, man. So we could talk some stuff, man. We gonna do it. So y'all, listen. I gotta end this, man. I gotta end this monologue. Monologue's supposed to be 5 to 10 minutes, really 5 minutes. I've been on here. I've been on here for an hour. All right, y'all. I appreciate you. I hope that if anybody, if you're dealing with something, go back and watch this. Just go back and watch this. Right? Go back and watch it. You're not a prisoner to any job. And despite the economy, I saw the jobs report, but I ain't gonna get into it. Despite the economy, despite the world as it is in real time, there's still some job. And by the way, I would be remiss if I didn't say this. When I say your next level, I don't mean necessarily in a district. I mean, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. I don't mean necessarily outside in the world as an entrepreneur. Maybe there's a superintendent in you. Maybe there's an assistant superintendent in you. Maybe there's a director in you. Maybe there's a supervisor in you, right? So maybe there's just something else that would give you a different kind of satisfaction that you no longer receive from what you're doing right now. Because it's just like sports, man. I watched Venus Williams playing the other day. Here's a great example. I watched Venus. I watched her in her singles match. She's 45 years old. She still got skill. But she ain't 20-something-year-old Venus. But she came on out there. So then when she was in the doubles competition and her and the young lady Fernandez won the other day, I watched the whole match. I'm sure that Williams sisters fans, we got a little hype. Like, oh, we might get a Williams sister in the finals. Venus at 45 years old. Then some of us, because I was reading the post and all this, I had in my mind, maybe Serena going to come back and try to break that record. But then that age kicked in. See? So in other words, Venus was a superstar, and Venus would have been the best tennis player ever if she didn't have a little sister named Serena. We know that because she was on that trajectory. She just so happened to have a little sister that was a little better than her, right? So, but I'm saying they both slowed down. Serena wasn't playing like young Serena. Well, in the principalship, sometimes, we young, we hype, we going hard, man. We don't get tired. We don't get hungry, right? We just going so hard. But then you start getting older. And maybe running around in a school building is not for you anymore, but there is a place that is for you. It could still be in your district, right? At the central office position, right? Or maybe it's a different district at a central office position. Maybe it's assistant superintendent because you're on that superintendent trajectory, whatever it is, but it's out there. But if you, for whatever the reason, you confine yourself to where you are and you getting older at it, don't bring the same drive, the same fire, the same determination, then it's not the same you that's leading that school. Those kids in contemporary times are not getting out of you what the prior kids got from you. Those kids in contemporary times are getting something different. They're not getting the real you. People ask me all the time, would you ever go back to being a principal? I know them kids in 2025, 26 wouldn't get the Kafele of the 90s, the Kafele of the early 2000s. They're not going to get that because I'm not him. I go on these stages as a speaker. Man, I didn't know I was going to get into this. I go onto these stages as a speaker, and in my mind, I'm in my head on these stages. I'm like, you ain't the same speaker. Yo, put your ear to the speaker real quick. I'm on the stage in Mount Vernon last week doing a convocation keynote, Mount Vernon, New York. And I'm pacing the stage. In my mind, I say, you don't move like you used to. And then as I'm speaking, I'm like, damn, you don't even sound like you used to. I know I'm getting older. So what's happening is I'm trying to be that younger version with all that fire, because that's my reputation, my brand, Principal Kafele on fire. So people say that, bring the fire, Kafele. So I'm trying to bring something that ain't in me no more. Do you hear me? Like, I'm not saying I've lost my effectiveness, though. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I got to do it differently now. I can't be on that stage yelling and screaming. And I don't mean like my closing that some of y'all are familiar with. I'm talking about the whole presentation. It's not in me no more. I'm older now. I move differently now. I was watching a video of myself yesterday in Las Vegas, and I said, man, that ain't who you used to be. No, we grow. So some of y'all trying to hold on to a 20, 30-year principalship, you ain't leading like you used to lead. Because you're older now. And you'll probably be more so useful and beneficial in a different position that allows you to train the principals, to have influence over the principals because of the greatness that's in you. Man, I'm sweating, y'all. All right, y'all, listen. I'm done. Let's get to a little bit of my topic, and and then we'll continue in October. My topic is I appreciate what everything I see what y'all saying too, man. I see all these comments, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Listen, my topic is mental and emotional stability for the new school year. Again, mental and emotional stability for the new school year. So obviously this is a continuation of the monologue. My monologue was supposed to be like 10 minutes max, man. That's what happens on these solo Saturdays. For those of you that don't know, every first Saturday is solo Saturday. I don't bring on guests anymore on Saturday. The only time I'm gonna bring on guests is on Women's History Month, because I'm gonna bring on all women. But outside of that first Saturday, that's mine. Right? Let's go. So mental and emotional stability for the new school year. Listen, y'all, I'm transitioning. You know, the work that you currently do, that work can be difficult, right? It can be challenging. It can be overwhelming. It can be burdensome. You can be in a situation where you feel undervalued, right? And I don't mean like by anybody in particular, just you looking at you and the pressures, the burden that you wear on your shoulders, and you just don't feel the way you should be feeling because this is strenuous work that you do. But the good thing about it is, but it's good work. It's good work, right? I will definitely never deviate from that. It is good work. But I want to take you back, right? So since I'm in it now, let me just say to you, folks, hit that share button for me, hit that repost, hit that retweet, hit that that like button. Even if you dislike it, like it anyway for me, right? That allows the platform to continue to grow. We're at 24,400 subscribers on YouTube. Hit that like button, particularly on YouTube, but all of the platforms. Text somebody, tag somebody, call somebody, let them know we're talking about your mental and emotional stability for the new school year. So let's go. I want to take it back, and I got a series of questions that I want you to just kind of ponder. I didn't put them on the screen, so I could put them on the screen. So just, you can rewind this at the end and get these, or you can just write some fast notes. But number one, why did you become a principal? And I would ask that question to start, because what I've learned is that there are a lot of veterans who they can answer the question why they became principal, but many that I ask this question, and I ask it to many, they've forgotten why, right? Or they can give you why they started it, but they can't necessarily tell you why they're still in it. Their why. They'll give you cliche type stuff. I still want to make a difference, that type of thing, but the specificity of the why. So I'm saying to you, when we talk about your mental and emotional stability going into this school year, I'm saying first and foremost, you got to ask the question, why did you become a principal? Or Why did you become an assistant principal? It matters. And by the way, we got somebody from India checking in. Mrs. Namrata Chaudhary is in the building, checking in from India. I keep telling y'all we international. I appreciate you being here. I hope I didn't butcher the name too much, Miss Chaudhary, Mrs. Chaudhary. I appreciate you checking in from India. So we are definitely worldwide on the platform here, right? Good stuff, good stuff. So why did you become a principal is my first question. Jot that down somewhere. I don't mean in the chat, like write it, because you never want to lose sight of your initial why, because your initial why has to be able to support your current why. Your current why may not be the same why because it may have evolved, but there's got to be some kind of relationship, some kind of compatibility between the two. Secondly, what were you aiming to accomplish, right? So, you know, we all come in green and we want to do things that no one else has ever done. But then once we get into it and now we're here, right, and we're feeling the brunt of the work, then sometimes those big goals start to diminish. So what I'm saying to you is, I'm asking you, what were you aiming to accomplish? And I might ask you, if you haven't accomplished it yet, are you still aiming to accomplish it, or have you brought it down now? Because see, it's one thing, you know, we can go into a school and say, we're going to change the world here. We're going to prove that our children, regardless of whatever the circumstances are of the children, we're going to achieve at high levels. So if we're urban and challenges within the community, and then you got the suburban schools up the interstate highway and they're performing high, and then you got the mindset, we're going to perform with those kids. But then the real world kicks in and you like, oh my God. And now you somewhere talking about, well, the goal is to get a 5 percentage point increment from this year to next year, right? So we're at 45% in reading, we going to 50% next year, right? So now your goal, what you were aiming for, has come way down. So now you we can go from like 30 to 35, right? 35 to 40, whatever it is, then we good. See, so you have changed drastically. So you have to remind yourself of what that thing was you were aiming for, so that you continue to aim for it, but you do it realistically, right? Methodically, as opposed to 0 to 100, as Drake would say, real quick, right? That ain't gonna happen, right? So make sure that you maintain those initial goals. I don't care if your whole circle, your parents, your spouse, your significant others all told you that your goals were unrealistic, as long as you believe it. Because I had people that told me that mine were unrealistic. My boss at that time, who I had an excellent relationship, you're quitting your job and you have no clients? Like, how are you going to pay your mortgage, which was over $2,000? How are you going to pay the benefits, which you will be paying about $2,500 a month? How are you going to pay that? Here was my answer. Watch me. Watch me. So I knew I'm not going lower. I'm not going down here. I'm going here, baby. I'm going here. Number 3, what did you envision your school would become under your leadership? So now you're looking at the totality of the school. And I'm asking you, back when you started, and some of y'all just started, I know that because this is a platform of a lot of our fam are new leaders. So what did you envision? Well, I'm here to say to you, whatever you envisioned at the beginning, you can't now, oh, that was too unrealistic. Like, because at the beginning, I thought that with me coming in as the principal, I envisioned this school to be a top-notch blue ribbon Title I Distinguished School Award school. And now you running around talking about, well, if we could, you know, get maybe 80% of our high school students to graduate, if we could get up to 55% in reading, no, let those be benchmarks, but that ain't your vision. Benchmarks if you're lower, but that's not your vision. Your vision is much bigger than that. You got to sustain it. Let's go. Was your vision greater than the traditional just leading a school? See, some people come in and I just want to lead a school. But then you got other people come in, I want to change the world through my school. Y'all didn't hear me. See, some people come in, I want to be a principal. That's what they say. I just want to be a principal. Like, that don't even mean nothing. I just want to be a principal. But other people, they come in, I'm getting ready to change the world through my school. That's a whole different mentality, y'all. That's a whole different mentality. So I'm asking you these questions to work my way to the mental, emotional stability that I was talking about. So let's go. Was your vision great? Oh, I read that one. Did your vision go beyond professional goals? Was it in any way personal? Ooh. See, I always admire that principal that will say to me, the success of the students and staff in my school is personal. It is not just professional. It is not just my day job. This is personal for me. Because see, when it's personal, now it becomes a must. They must be successful because I own it. It's personal. See, when it's just professional, then you're just working within the organization, doing whatever it is you got to do. But when it's personal, like you have taken complete ownership of your vision. You have taken complete ownership of your goals. You have taken complete ownership of your purpose and mission. Is it personal? Or was it personal at one point back in the beginning and it has transitioned to now, these kids, I don't know about them, man. It's problems in this community. It's problems in this school. I can only do but so much. Now it's become professional. See, for all my years in this business, the success of my students was personal. In fact, I'll go a step further. This platform that you're watching me on right now, this is personal, y'all. They don't pay. I don't get a check for this. I don't get a wire transfer for this. You don't know how many hours I spent putting this together, and I'm not even going to get to it all. I'll do more in October. I spent hours on them planes, man, this week because it's personal. Because I know somebody out here. Matter of fact, I think everybody that tunes in is looking for something. So I said, well, let me provide it. It's personal. It ain't professional because this doesn't translate into me receiving a paycheck. The people that tune in already know what I do outside of this. So it's not like this, oh, now there's a higher probability I'm going to get some gigs, right? To use the language that some people use, some engagements. No, if people are tuning in, they already know I do this for a living in terms of speaking. So it's not like this is enhancing my business. This is just something personal that I do, right? That's all it is. It's a labor of love. That's it. Let's go. If it was personal, did it have anything to do with your commitment to a particular group, community, or cause? See, in other words, I started in New York, but that was just to get my feet wet. For 1 year, I came back home to East Orange. And for all them years I was in East Orange, New Jersey, which is the city that I was born and raised in. I say I was born, but I was really born in Orange. But I lived in East Orange all my life until I moved to Jersey City. So here till I moved to Woodbridge, I should say. So anyway, that's too much specificity. So anyway, I went back home to East Orange to teach. Then I stayed home in East Orange to lead because it was personal. It was personal. So it didn't, of course I'm working professionally, but it stayed personal. That's what I want y'all to remember. So now it says with any particular group, community, or cause, right? So here's the thing, y'all. The city. Yeah, it was personal for that city. And I might add, the city happened to be Black with a smaller Latino population. So that city, that particular race, ethnic group, right? Yeah, it was personal, right? And the cause itself, yeah, because I know that I'm in a city like any city. Don't want to make unique East Orange unique in this, but any city, you got a whole lot of miseducated young people, right? I didn't want to contribute to that. I wanted to make sure that my presence meant that they're going to get something more than a traditional education. For one thing, they're going to get some understanding of who they are historically, now, which we call knowledge of self, right? Let's keep going. Did you bring any intentionality to your leadership? So not only were you leading, but there were some very specific things that you said, this must be accomplished, right? Did you bring that with you to your leadership? Did you bring a sense of urgency to your leadership? See, we're going back. I'm talking about when you started. I'm not talking about right now, because we're gonna build to that when we talk about your mental emotional stability. So did you bring a sense of urgency? And I might add, what was the evidence of your urgency, right? What was the evidence of your intentionality? When you were in that school, leading that school, was it clear as the sky is blue that you were bringing a sense of urgency relative to young people being successful in your building? Next, did you bring an activist spirit or an advocate spirit to your work? See, that's going a step further, that now you're fighting for your kids. See, it's one thing to lead them, and that's not a bad thing, but it's another thing to fight for them, right? If not fight with them. See, that's a whole other discussion. So the question is not implying that this should be you. The question is just a question, asking, did you bring that particular energy into your work as well? That you brought that activist spirit, you brought that advocate spirit, that I'm not only leading you, I'm not only teaching you, because as a principal, hopefully you're a teacher as well. Hopefully you are teaching to that school, not a classroom teacher, although some principals we know will take a period and teach, but that's not what I mean here. Meaning that you are enlightening young people, you are educating young people, you are opening up the minds of young people, right? So with that, I said, well, I gotta fight for them too. So I'm fighting for young people. I'm bringing that activist spirit. I'm bringing that advocate spirit while I'm in the school for them. I got their back. The question is asking, do you have it? Did you have it? Did you bring it? Right? And I'm not even asking you about now. We're gonna get to now. Right? Next one. I think I'm at the second to last for these questions. We're almost there. What was the inspiration behind your commitment to your work? Like, what inspired you to want to become a principal? What was it? Next, what made you feel that you were built for school administration? What made you feel that you were built for this role? Right? And again, I just want to keep reminding you, I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about back then, because back then is important. Why so? Because back then is your foundation. That's why, right? So what was the inspiration and what made you feel that you were built for this work? Because you know something? I don't even like saying this, but I have to. All of us are not built to lead schools. All of us are not built to lead schools. Some of us are built to be second in command, assistant principal. Everyone's not built to take over the reins and be the leader of the building, right? Not everybody. Some of us are very good at being number two, and some of us are very much content at being number two, right? But so the question then, if I can go back to it, what made you feel that you were built? I used the language school administration, but now I want to distinguish one from the other. Built for AP, built for principalship. Because once you're in the principal's role, that means everything about that school, everything falls on your shoulders. As assistant principal, that is not the case. Everything's not on your shoulders. So like, for example, if the boiler stops on a Sunday afternoon while you're watching your favorite football team, yeah, maintenance can be called. But if you're the principal, if I was your superintendent and you're the principal and your boiler shut down and you in Chicago somewhere, you in Detroit, you up in them cold areas, heck, I could say Jersey, and you made the decision to continue to watch your game at home, I ain't pleased with you. If I'm your superintendent, I'm not happy. You ain't on. You're not on my team. You're not the kind of teammate that I want. Because yeah, I need maintenance to go to the school, but it's not the maintenance guy or gal. It's not their school. It's your school. I expect you to leave that football game and be at that school You may know nothing about anything as it relates to maintenance of the boiler, which they wouldn't want you to touch it anyway. I just want you to be there watching them doing what they do and showing them that you're going down with the ship. See? But guess what? Here's where I'm making the distinction now between the principal and the AP. I don't expect the AP to be there. That's not the AP's role. But I'll tell you this. If I'm principal and I show up at that school and there's the AP pulling up in that parking lot, my AP just scored points with me. You better best believe that. You left home on Sunday because you found out the boiler was broken, because I may not have called you. I don't need you. But maybe you found out some kind of way, or maybe I told you because of the relationship we have, and you on your own volition, you came on to the school. Oh, you score points with me, baby. You score points with me. But I'm saying all that to say, or the other example, like those of us in old schools, we know this, when that pipe ruptures, in your school, your first floor looks like a swimming pool, right? Well, you can't, as principal, you can't fix it. What you can do is shut the water off. But I'm not necessarily expecting your AP to be at the school. They're two different worlds. But as the leader of that building, I expect the principal to be there. So if I'm the superintendent and I know the principal did not show up on Sunday or at midnight on a weekday, 1 a.m., because you get in the call, 2 a.m., you had a pipe rupture. All right, you got to get up out of that bed, baby. You need it at the school. See, so I'm making that distinction. I'm not saying that the AP is the disciplinarian and the principal is the instructional leader. That's what I fight against every day of my professional life. I fight against that. Because there's some of us that think that the AP is the one that does the discipline and the principal is the instructional leader. No, I fight against that. That is, I'm going to use these initials. I don't think I've ever used them on this platform before. That is BS. It is BS to relegate the AP to disciplinarian and the principal is supposed to be the instructional guy. Are you kidding me? Really? Right? So I'm making that distinction to say that I'm asking the question, were you built for it, right? But they're two very different roles. But obviously, we want the AP to have all the knowledge and exposure to everything the principal has knowledge and exposure of. Let's go, y'all. Next one. I got 3 more of these, and then we're gonna get into mental and emotional stability throughout the year. After delving deeper into administration via grad school, an apprenticeship, maybe a summer school principalship, observing and engaging with others despite the challenges of the work, what made you feel that this work was for you? So that was a lot. Let me read it again. After delving deeper into administration via grad school, an apprenticeship that you may have done, maybe a summer school principalship. This is before you became a principal. Observing and engaging with others that have already been in the field and in the role. And despite the challenges of the work, what made you feel that this work was for you? And if you're in the principalship, you probably did some kind of apprenticeship. You went to grad school, hopefully, and whatever preparation you had, what made you feel that this is for you? That's the question. Did your why evolve as you became more acclimated to leadership? So I talked about that before. The why could be right here, but as you grow into leadership, it could like the why could be like this here. But as you grow into leadership, it could evolve, it could expand. But you still got that foundation. And then lastly, what is your why today in real time? Right? What is your why today? In fact, here's what I want to give y'all an assignment right quick. Write your why in the comments. What's your why? Right? Write your why in the comments. What is the purpose of you walking into that building every day? Drop that comment for me so that I could read it later on. What is your why? Right? And but the question that was on the table is, what is your why today in real time? And has it expanded? Has it evolved? Has it shifted? Has it changed? Has it pivoted? from who you were before. Let's say it pivoted away. Let's say it shifted or changed from what it used to be. Then my question to you would be, why so? What made it that your why became obsolete? Right? What is that? Right? So that's that. I wanted to ask you those foundational questions. Now let's go to this second phase of this message. I might get everything in, man. Let's see. I got 3 phases. So let's go to second phase. As I said from the outset, the work is difficult, it's challenging, and in some cases it's downright overwhelming. I know that. I told you that. I lived it, and I know that many of you are living the same thing. The question then is, what will you do to sustain yourselves mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically? Let me ask that question again. Given that the work can be difficult, challenging, pressure-filled, demanding, and overwhelming, what will you do, or what are you doing to sustain yourselves mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically? You know, I'm not going to get heavy into the spiritual part, because, you know, we all coming from different faiths. The commonality is God, right? But I'll see what I do with that. So let's go. Despite your purpose, your mission, your vision, there are landmines all around you. I want to say that again. Despite your purpose, your mission, and your vision, I'm talking about your leadership purpose, your leadership mission, your leadership vision, there are landmines all around you. They're all around you. What's key is your awareness of the landmines, and, with capital letters, that word and, your understanding of the landmines and how to navigate each of them, right? So with that said, I'm on the plane being creative. I created these scenarios that I want to throw at you as it relates to that. Thank you for that, Yolanda. That's right. And capital letters. I want to share these scenarios that I created. They're short. You made an egregious decision. So I'm not even going to speculate what the decision was, but there was, like, again, and this is just hypothetical. You made not a bad decision. You made an egregious decision. So when we talk about mental and emotional stability, and you made an egregious decision, and everybody knows you made this egregious decision, and your superintendent and the assistant superintendent that you report to are riding you. They are on your back because you made an egregious decision. Well, here's how I want to respond to it. What did you learn from the decision? And what would you do differently next time? See, in other words, y'all got 10 months ahead of you. People in the South, I guess 9. You got 1 month under your belt with August, perhaps, right? But here, there's somebody in the world that made a rough decision, a bad decision, egregious decision. You can't change the decision. It's been made. What's been done has been done. What I'm asking you is, how are you reacting to it or responding to it toward next time that you decrease the probability that you make the same decision again. So again, you made an egregious decision. My question to you, what did you learn from the decision? That's number one. So it's a two-parter. What did you learn from that decision? And if I'm you and it's egregious, I'm taking out this. And I'm taking out my pad. And I'm going to write down, all right, here's what I did, and here's what I learned from it. Because I need a running record. Because I can't do this. I can't do this again. It's egregious. But here's the part B. What would you do differently next time? That matters, right? You're going to do the same thing again, given the same circumstances? Or will you proceed differently next time, right? I can give you some. I can give you some stuff that I did that was a mistake. It wasn't egregious. I can't recall anything egregious. But I can recall some things that I said, man, if I had that to do all over again, I'll do it differently. Well, I never did anything twice that I did that I felt personally was not the right decision. But again, what did you learn from it? And what would you do differently? So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 7 scenarios with those same 2 questions. So let me go to the second one. Your staff meeting turned into something you hadn't anticipated. So what you thought was going to be a very productive staff meeting became something very ugly. And they happen. I haven't had an ugly staff meeting, but I sure have heard about them. So, but you're the leader. So here's my question, same ones. What did you learn from it? Because chances are, if that staff meeting became something that you hadn't anticipated, and you're leading that staff meeting, you're the leader of that building, even if you're not the one that's on the floor talking, you're still in the room, so you're still a leader. There was something about your influence or lack thereof that allowed that meeting to spiral out of control. So now you got to look at you, even though you were not the cause of it directly. Now you got to look at you. What is it about my leadership that this meeting became ugly? All sorts of verbal fighting going on in the room, and it's just stuff. It was counterproductive to the culture and the morale of the staff. What it is about your leadership that allowed that to happen, and what is it about your leadership that will prevent that from happening in the future, right? Because staff meetings can spiral out of control, particularly when the leadership is not as strong as it should be, not as influential as it should be, right? So my question again, what did you learn from it? And what would you do differently next time? See, it matters. It matters. Scenario number 3, a parent didn't like how you handled a situation and reported you to a board member, right? So it got political. So I didn't say reported you to the superintendent, reported you to a board member because, they got better access to the board than they do to the superintendent because the board member is part of the community. So a parent didn't like how you handled a situation and reported you to a board member. The question, what did you learn from it? And what would you do differently? Well, when I wrote this, there's a lot of things I thought. One of the things I thought was just the interaction with the parent. That's number 1. But number 2 is the aftermath. Like, okay, so now the board member knows. So now the board member confronts me, although they're, most places they're not supposed to, but they probably will. And now, or they go to the superintendent who confronts me. How am I going to handle that? Right. So there's a lot of scenarios within the scenario, but the bottom line is I want you to think about your leadership. And is there a possibility that a parent is unhappy with the decision you made or how you handled a situation, and then they go and report you to a board member? How would you handle that? Because that's part of leadership. That's part of what we do. Right. I've had it. Right. I've had to report to the superintendent. I've had to report to the board member, and usually it's around discipline, right? So what will you do? Because that's real world. But let's look at the bigger picture. We're talking about your mental, emotional stability. So now you know that a parent has gone to the board on you, right? Now you're stressed, at least you could be, right? You're not happy about it. So now you've got to deal with that. So when I get to my part 3, then we're going to talk about dealing with it. Now I'm giving you the scenarios, or the rest of my part 2, I should say. Yeah, the rest of my part 2, not my part 3. I might not get to part 3 today. Number 4, you failed to spend down your budget. You failed to spend down your budget, and your superintendent put a memo in your file. So in other words, you have a budget, and you got to the end of the year, and you were already instructed, all principals, we're not rolling over money. Whatever money's not spent, you lose it, right? But the bigger question is, why wasn't the money spent? Don't you have need in that building for X, Y, and Z? How do you have a surplus when we have need, right? We have need. Children are not performing. How do you have money left over? Why are you holding on to money? So if I'm superintendent And I got low performing schools in my district. I see you, Armin, and good to see you. Been a while. And we got that's a junior in high school that's tuned in right now, y'all. If in case you don't know Armin Wilson from Lake Charles, Louisiana, from last year when he was a sophomore watching. So he's a junior in high school, and he's on here faithfully on the AP and New Principals Academy. A junior in high school in Louisiana, the same high school that Dr. Marcus Jackson graduated from, right? So let's go back. So you're a low performing district, and you have a surplus in your budget. You've already been instructed that you cannot roll the money over. If you close the school year with money remaining in your budget, it goes back to the district. If I'm your superintendent, I'm upset. And you're going to know I'm upset unless you're a rookie principal and you're still trying to figure it out. But after that first year, and I'm looking at your scores, and the scores are concluding or indicating that you got children in your building who cannot read at grade level, who cannot compute in mathematics, and you have money in your budget. I'm not happy if I'm your if I'm your superintendent or assistant superintendent. So now, because I'm not happy, you're feeling, and I shouldn't use this word because it's not the appropriate word, but maybe in your world it might be, so I'll use it. You're feeling my wrath. You're feeling my wrath. I'm not happy. And I may have documented that I'm not happy to ensure that you do not do it again. Of course, I want to treat you professionally and not have to document. But when we talk about money and I'm held accountable as your superintendent relative to the spending of that money, and you got money left over. So now here's what I'm asking you. How you going to handle that emotionally? You can't spend the money now. But emotionally, you got to handle that. I'm gonna get into that soon. I'm not there yet. Right now, I'm just on the scenarios in terms of asking you the generic question, how you going to handle it, and sharing with you the scenarios that I wrote. But here's the two questions still. What did you learn from it? And what will you do differently next time? What did you learn from it? And what will you do differently next time? I have to repeat what Dr. Makiva Jeter said, because she's a retired principal and she knows. She said that should never happen. Right? That's what retired principal Dr. Makiva Jeter just said. That should never happen. So I just want her reinforcement, because we do have rookies on here, and we ain't rolling over no money. You got to spend that money because there is need in your schools. It's got to be. Right? So let's go. I'm almost done with these. Next one. You innocently, this is a big one too, y'all. You innocently drove a child home, but it became a scandal. You just gave a kid a ride home because the kid needed a ride home. There's no one else to get the kid home. It's cold outside. But the policy in your district was you can't drive children. But now somebody found out you drove this child and put some little lies out there. And now you're in the middle of a scandal. And there's this thing called social media in our world now, which was not in my principal world, except for like maybe my last couple of years, right? Beyond that, it didn't exist. MySpace became something in my last few years, right? So now you got a scandal on your hands. How you going to handle that? Well, we're going to talk about that soon. But in the interim, my two questions. What did you learn from it? And what would you do differently next time? See, what'd you learn from it? And what would you do differently next time? Why would I create this type of scenario? Because it happens. That's why. Because it happens. Next one. You spoke unfavorably to someone outside of your school about a staff member, and it got back to the staff member. Once again, you spoke unfavorably to someone you know outside of your school about a staff member, and somehow, some way, it got back to the staff member. My two questions. What did you learn from it? And what would you do differently next time? The obvious thing is keep your mouth shut, right, about members of your staff. But I'm going to go deeper with it when we get to the next part. I got one more. You posted something that you thought was innocent So in other words, you posted it on social media. You posted something that you thought was innocent, but members of the community felt it was controversial, which in turn became a contentious situation. One more time. You posted something that you thought was innocent, but members of the community felt it was controversial, which in turn became a contentious situation. My two questions. What did you learn from it? And what would you do differently next time? Whew. See, you thought it was all good. You thought it was all good. I had I don't know if I should, well, the person's, I would never say the person's name. I don't even remember their name. But a person, I don't even want to give you the gender. A person wrote me, as many do, that said, I can't get hired. I said, my first question is always, did you watch my videos? They said yes. I said, okay. I said, so I gave this other advice. But then I went to their, I won't even tell you what page, I won't tell you what platform. I went to their social media page because I don't want to put no hints out there. I went to their social media page and I went like this here. Oh my God. That's why the person didn't get hired. Somebody said, you funny, right? I was like, I hit the person back. I figured out why you're not getting hired. Nobody, I told the person, I wouldn't hire you. Ain't no way. No, I literally said that. I wouldn't hire you. And neither would anybody else. You have a public page. I had access to your page. So does anybody else. That person wrote me back. I took everything down. I'm not laughing because it's funny, man. I'm laughing because it's ridiculous. Like, I mean, if that's who, like how you gonna dress, like, you know, like I think y'all read between the lines. How you gonna be scantily dressed, right? But you trying to lead a school. Come on, man. And I'm gonna tell somebody something. Don't even throw your politics at me because I got no interest. Right? Do not throw your politics at me on that. Right? There's a time and there's a place. Right? And when you dress like you on your way to the club, listen, you reach out to me for advice, I'm letting you know. I'm not gonna go on somebody's page and like say stuff. I don't do that. That's not me. People like to do that to me. Like I posted something the other day and all the maggots came at me, right? Because I criticized that Lift Every Voice and Sing. Some of y'all heard me preach this on this platform. That Lift Every Voice and Sing is sung at NFL stadiums, and it was so disgraceful the other night. All the people were talking. You could hear it through the mic. I don't know why the TV station NBC put the camera on the crowd. I don't know what the agenda was behind that. I can only speculate. But they showed the crowd walking around, leaving to go to the concession stands and all that stuff. The lady singing the song, and ain't nobody paying her no mind. So I wrote about it. I said it has no place in an NFL stadium. It is a sacred song. It is the Black national anthem. It should be respected and not sung in that environment. So here come all the maggots, and they dogging me. You racist, you and you know, all this kind of stuff. Man, I had to block all these people. But that's so. But see, I don't do. But my point in bringing that up, I don't do that. I don't go on people's pages because I don't agree with something they write and then try to tell them off and insult them. Right? No, I see it and I keep moving. And if it's something that pops up in my thread all the time, then I just block them or unfriend them so that I don't have to see their stuff because it's a turnoff for me. Right? So I hope I didn't get too political on that one. But yeah, it's but you come to me, Kafele, I can't get hired. I don't know you. I never met this person. I don't know anybody that writes me that says they can't get hired. Because anyone that knows me that can't get hired, they're going to call me. But people that write me in these inboxes, I can't get hired. All right. Well, the first place I'm going, I want to see what you look like. I go to your page. Oh my God. I'm too young to see that. Right. So now, okay. I figured out why you can't get hired. That person wrote me back like within 5 minutes. I took all that down. All right, but you already did. You already put it out there now, so you know I don't know. But hey, that's where we are, y'all. That's where we are. All right, y'all. I'm done. So those are the scenarios. So the question would be again, what did you learn from it, and what would you do differently? That's the question. So let's go. Let me see if I can get all these notes in. So let's talk about it. We're gonna get into now what we're gonna do, because all of this, like the scenario with the clothing, right? Okay, that person can't get hired. That's so we're talking about now your mental health, your emotional health. I'm not good because I went to grad school. I paid thousands of dollars. I've been wanting to be this leader for a very long time. I can't get hired. Okay, how you gonna handle that so that you can still be productive, so that you haven't brought yourself to a point where you're not functioning at the levels upon which you're accustomed to functioning, because mentally you're not there. I'm just trying to straighten that bad boy out, right? So I don't even. Oh man! All right, there we go. There we go. All right. Ooh, that's terrible. All right, forget it. I can't get it right. I need a real mirror. So here we are. As a school administrator, let's talk about it. You are in the people business. Let me remind you of that. As a school administrator, you are in the people business. Your professional life revolves around people, all sorts of people, children and adults simultaneously. You have a very unique leadership role of leading children and adults at the same time simultaneously. And if you are going to survive this work called school leadership, you must be able to navigate the multiple different personalities, experiential backgrounds, agendas, etc., that you will encounter while still maintaining a focus on student achievement and the continued improvement of instruction. I said a lot there, y'all, but in a nutshell, I said you're dealing with all sorts of people, all sorts of agendas, all sorts of backgrounds, right? So they're coming at you differently. And then you're dealing with children, you're dealing with adults, you're dealing with teachers, you're dealing with parents, you're dealing with community, you're dealing with central office, all the way to your superintendent and board members. You're dealing with a lot of people. You got to be able to keep a level playing field as you're dealing with all these different people within your professional life, while maintaining, as I wrote in capital letters that you would never see, while maintaining a focus on student achievement and the continued improvement of instruction. It matters. So as a school leader, check this out, fam. You are the head coach. You are the quarterback. You are the point guard. You are the pitcher. See, you the one that's out there leading the effort. The head coach, the leader. The quarterback is the leader on the field. The pitcher is the leader on the baseball diamond. The point guard is the leader on the basketball court. You're all that. How you going to balance that? Everything that happens in the building falls on your shoulders. Everything. It's pressure. It's demanding, but it's doable. I want to give you this example. Today is September the 6th. That means in 5 days, it'll be September 11th, 9/11. Let me tell you something. East Orange, New Jersey is not near New York City, where 9/11 occurred. You know, we a state over. We're not far. It's not going to take forever to get to New York City, but it's not right there. Like where I'm at in Jersey City, I'm just a river away. I get to New York City very quickly from where I am now, where I live in Jersey City. But when I was living in East Orange, when I was working in East Orange, that's not like a stone's throw like it is here. There's certain parts of Jersey City I can go and stand, like right down the street, and I can literally look at the World Trade Center, right? From different points in Jersey City. I can literally look at it from here. But in East Orange, you ain't seeing no World Trade Center, right? So here's my point. When that happened, my leadership shifted. And I think I was in my second or third year of principal leadership, whatever it was. Right. And man, I became the CEO. I mean, I'm already the CEO, but I mean, it was a different kind of leadership because I had to calm parents down. Half my school was picked up by their parents, but I still had to be that liaison to keep them calm because they were not calm because no one knew what was going on. So I had to wear that burden. Well, it wasn't a burden, but just a different level of leadership that grad school did not prepare me or you for. But I had to be able to lead under those circumstances. And I did. Right? So again, this is the pressure. This is pressure, and it's depending on who you are, what you're about. It could be intense because we all handle pressure very differently. So now here's my solutions. Took me all this time to get to them. Hit that share button, hit that retweet, hit that repost, text somebody, tag somebody, call somebody, let them know we here. Listen, y'all, I got this list of things I want you to infuse into your work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 items. 13 for good luck. Here we go. Number 1, who do you have around you? Just who's in your space, not your circle, your space, right? I want you to take an inventory of who are the people that are around you and that you have access to and that you can lean on. And I don't necessarily mean solely people who know your work intimately, such as other principals, but just other people that may not have an understanding of principal leadership, but may have an understanding of leadership, right? Or just may understand you enough that they have certain advice or a certain shoulder that you can lean on. Because when you try to do this work, as I did back when I quit my first job, if you missed my monologue, you might want to go back and watch it, even though it's about 45 minutes long, but you might want to watch it. It's called I Quit My Dream Job Twice, right? So I'm not going to rehash that here, but I'm saying you got to have people within your orbit. People within your orbit. You can't do this thing called principal leadership or even assistant principal leadership in isolation by yourself because it's too much. It's too much coming at you. It's an overwhelming position. It's a good position. It's good work. It's great work. It's amazing work, but it is not easy work. So my question to you, who do you have around you in your orbit that you can call on, that you can lean on, that you know is there for you when you've got to talk some things out? That matters. I want you to take an inventory of who that is. Number 2, who's in your circle now? I'm not talking about your orbit now. I'm talking about your circle. The ones that you can be vulnerable with. The one like Dr. Vincent Stallings that you all have been exposed to. He's been on here twice. He's always on here as far as the platform. He's in my circle. I can confide in him. Bob Patrick that you just saw on here, my boy from going back to it. We became friends in 2nd grade. I can confide in him. I ain't got to worry about nothing. Who's in your circle? Another one that's been on here, Kevin Booker. I can confide in him, right? And there's several others. I can confide. That's my circle. That's a different level of friendship. But those are people in terms of Stallings and Booker that understand this work. Stallings has been a principal longer than I have now, right? Booker was a principal for quite a while before he became vice president at Morehouse. So these are people I could lean on now that I can be transparent with, that I can be vulnerable with, and I know that it's not going to go anywhere. You understand? So that's the difference between when I say who do you have around you versus who do you have in your circle. And if you don't have a circle, then I will admonish you. You got to develop one. But again, you can't just go out and poof, create a circle. You got to have close people. So if you don't have that, then I don't know how you're operating. So I don't want to speculate. But I would just think that we all need people who are close to us in our space. Maybe those close people might be in your family, right? And they just happen to be blood with you, but that's okay. Nothing wrong with that, right? So it's somebody that's related, but you have to have a circle. Now, I've had more than one circle because I've actually had circles in school who are not necessarily people I confided in, but it's people I can count on. But what was key to that is I never told them they were in my circle. See, you can't, if you have a circle in the building, no one can know that, because if your staff starts to speculate that you have a circle, meaning they're not going to call it circle, they're going to call it favorites, right? So now your staff say he has favorites, she has favorites. They get away with murder. Now your principalship has been undermined by you. You undermine your own, you sabotage your own principalship. So therefore, it's not about, you have people you can lean on, you can trust, you can call upon, you can call them late at night, I need this done, but you ain't gonna tell them you in my circle. You just make it, you have that rapport with them, right? So it's a fine line. And it might not be for everybody, because everybody may not be able to balance that the way that I balance it. That I know I didn't have people talking about, oh, that's his buddy right there. I didn't have that because I didn't make that apparent. And quite frankly, it wasn't my buddy. It was somebody that I have a very good working relationship that I can lean on, because I have empowered them to do other things to free me up to be the instructional leader that I want to be. Instead of me having my hands and feet and everything, I got other soldiers in that building who are doing other things beyond their job description and not asking for a dime to do it. So who's in your circle? Next one, number 3, who else is a part of your support? And I'm gonna give you this one, and I hope it doesn't come across controversial. It shouldn't, not in today's times. 10 years ago, it may have. When I say who else is a part of your support, I'm including in that even a therapist. When I quit my job, that first one, those of you that heard the monologue, I probably needed therapy at that time. I mean, when you got a family that's dependent on your salary and you called your boss and said, I quit, and you got no job to fall back on, right? I probably needed something. But back in them days, that was in 2004. Back in, no, that was 2003. No, that was 4. That was 2004. Back in those days, you talk about you need therapy, people look at you sideways, right? Now, the world has shifted. We can talk about mental health now. We can talk about emotional health now. But back in them days, particularly as a man, particularly as a black man, you couldn't have that conversation. People translate that into some kind of weakness. But the world has evolved, so we know now that that's looked upon favorably. So who else is a part of your support? Well, depending on just the volume of stress that you're carrying, right? The volume of pressure that you're carrying. Maybe you need a third party to talk to. That's not a bad thing, right? So your support beyond your inner circle, beyond your orbit, who else is in there? It could be some colleague, this is a principal in another school in your district, and this is not your homie. This is not your circle. This is not your orbit, but this is someone I feel I can talk to this person. Because maybe you figured out that the two of you are dealing with a lot of comparable things, right? So other layers of support. Next one. Are you part of a leadership affinity group? So now there's a group of you guys and you come together. Nowadays we can just use a virtual platform, Zoom, whatever, right? And now we can come together and we could talk about some things. The problem with that, because that's something I've wanted to do with you all. I say I got all this AP and New Principals Academy fam. I sure would like to have a platform where we could talk to one another. But my challenge with that, and the reason I haven't done it, is because I don't know how to make the space safe, because we're talking about strangers, folks that don't know one another outside of the ones that chat with one another in the chat. So if I ever come up with a way that I can create something that's a safe space where we can come together beyond the AP and New Principals Academy, and we just talk about issues of leadership, and we can dialogue with one another with the camera on, by the way, I'll do it in a heartbeat, right? But the thing I've been wrestling with for the past 2 years is how do I keep this a safe space and no one has to worry about it's going to get back to their school, their superiors or their colleagues, you know, all that kind of stuff, you know, based on the kinds of things we talk about. So I see y'all already saying I'm in and all that, and I'm going to do it, but I'm just trying to figure out how to do it. I haven't gotten to the how. All I got is to the intent. Once I get to the how to make this, because I don't want to put somebody on Zoom and we have a heavy duty conversation and then it undermines everything that you're trying to do because somebody listening is your adversary and you didn't know it, right? So, you know, so that's, I have to figure that out, y'all. You know, I try to be meticulous in what I do. I try to be careful in what I do. So let's go. I said all that to say, you know, the affinity group, you know, we come together. So my question was in terms of you dealing with the mental and emotional pressures of the work and maintaining your emotional and your mental and emotional stability on the job. Are you a part of an affinity group that we come together and share our experiences, share our thoughts, share our ideas, share what we're grappling with so that we can see that, oh, it's not just me. Like think about that assistant principal who has a principal that we don't like each other, right? Because newsflash, those exist, right? So they don't like each other. They don't even speak to one another outside of good morning and goodbye. There's nothing else there. I mean, those exist, folks. So now the AP is thinking, you know, if I could use this D word, damn. Does anyone else have this problem? Then you come together as this group. And you're like, oh, I'm not alone in this. So now we can exchange ideas. Now, of course, I've given several ideas on this platform. If anybody is in that boat, I hope you've watched those videos on YouTube, on the AP and New Principals Academy YouTube channel, because I've talked about how to navigate that. And I'm sure I'll do it again at some point. Or let's flip it. It's the principal that's got the problem with it. I don't like my AP. Now, let me tell y'all something. Newsflash. It's a lot of those relationships out here, y'all. A ton of them. Where the principal did not hire the AP was imposed on the principal. And now we're talking about a very unhappy principal. Those relationships exist. I learn about them all over the country. So now what if we were able to come together and now, oh my God, I have so many colleagues on the Zoom call that are part of AP New Principals Academy who are dealing with the same stuff. Well, we talk it through. Not me being leader per se, but me being facilitator of the conversations, right? But me falling back and letting you all talk, right? I just got to figure out how to make that safe. Because imagine that was the topic and it got back to the person in question, right? See, I don't want that. But I know that that's a topic that there are people who want to talk about. Let's go. Next one. Have you had to let go of dead weight? Once again, have you had to let go of dead weight? Here's what I mean by that. You're dealing with the pressures of the work. But then you got some folks in your orbit or in your circle or part of your support. They're not helping you. They're a hindrance. Because every time you come together, there's nothing positive about it. It's all doom and gloom. Like they could say that about you. Because as much as you need to be around people that are going to help you through something, the person on the other side of that conversation, they can only take but so much negativity. So we have to bring balance to any relationship that we have because we're not the therapist. If you're the therapist, fine. But if I'm in somebody's orbit, but they always doom and gloom, then guess who that's going to bring down? You're going to bring me down. Now, if you my friend, you know, you my homie, like that's Vinny, that's Rob, you know, Dr. Stallings, that's his nickname, Vinny, right? If you them, all right, then I'm going to endure that. But if we're talking professionally, and that's all you got, Like you don't bring anything to elevate my spirit. Like every time you come around, it's like, oh God, like you could smell the person coming a mile away. Oh God, here they come with that mess. You know, I had a running joke, y'all, that I used to use. It wasn't real, but it was a joke that I used to use in my presentations. And somehow things leave your psyche. Well, it just came back in, and I guess I'll go back to it again. I used to say to my audiences, I had some negative people in the building. And when I sensed they were coming down the stairwell, right? You know, we in Northeast, so we go up. Like some of y'all go out. Like in California and Texas, we go up, right? So they coming down the stairwell. I used to say to folks, man, I sensed they were coming down. I picked up my phone and went like this here. Wasn't nobody on it. And then they be at the door. I'm on the phone. I'll see you later. Okay. And later ain't never come. Because I know they bring in negativity, man. As Mr. Josh says, Mr. and Miss Potato Plant. That's Sean Hurt's language, right? They bring in doom and gloom, man. So I'm on the phone. Come back in an hour. Right? In an hour, I'm gone. Right. So but it's just a joke. You know, I'm not being sincere about that. That's not who I was, right? But I just, you know, you want people around you that going, not just your sounding board. You want some people that going to lift you up too, right? That's important. That's important. Yeah, Constance. Yeah, even though I never did it, it probably works. And maybe I did it once or twice, right? Right. But anyway, let's go. Next one. Do you maintain balance, harmony, and boundaries in your life? When we talk about your mental health and your mental and emotional stability, I should say, you got to have balance in your life that you are intentional about creating, right? You got to have harmony in your life. Like think about a song, right? I was watching, I know I shouldn't say this. Some of y'all are going to get mad at me. I know it, but I'm good with it. I can handle it. Right. But I was watching the beginning of the Eagles and Dallas game the other day. Now, I don't know if there's been chatter on social media about this or not. I have no idea. Right. I didn't look it up because when I got to the sky, like I was watching it on the ground. And once we got in the air, the app, once I got Wi-Fi in the air, I couldn't get the game. So I didn't get to watch that game, Dallas and Philly. But I got to watch the preliminaries, like Lift Every Voice and Sing, for example, like I said before. But then Boys the Men came and sang, right? This is the part where some of y'all going to get mad at me, but I'm good with it. I'm good with it. Maybe it's me, but that harmony wasn't flowing, right? In the beginning, unless it was just the speakers. I don't know what it was, but like I was like, ooh. If it wasn't me, y'all, somebody tell me in the chat, man, because I haven't read any, I haven't looked for any social media on that, right? But they started singing. I was like, ooh, somebody out of sync here, right? Right. So it's and so then as they was going, it happened again, and I was like, ooh, what's happening, right? Like Boys the Men. Something was out of sync, but maybe it was they were in the stadium and it was the speakers and it was just coming through the speakers because I've never heard that of that. I've seen them live before in Vegas, right? But I'm saying this, it made me go like ooh, right? Like ugly face, like ooh, right? Right. So I'm saying, so I'm on point. You're lying. Okay, so yeah, it wasn't just me, right? So like. It wasn't harmonious in that moment for the way I was receiving through the phone because I don't want no letter from Boys and Men's lawyers, right? So like it wasn't coming through right, and I started thinking about this. That's probably the spirit for writing this because this wasn't written prior to that game, right? So prior to this particular part of my notes, so the harmony wasn't there, so it was cringeworthy. Well, I'm saying the same thing with your life. You got to have harmony. Your life got to be like pleasant to the best of your ability. Harmony. So you're not all work. And when things are not going the way you want it to go, you've got harmony, meaning in this regard, you have people to converse with, right? Or you have other means of dealing with it, such as going to the gym. Maybe some of y'all lift weights. So I'm going to take it out on that barbell, right? And you do it that way. Maybe some of y'all play some ball. Maybe some of you run. Maybe some of you on the treadmill. So you normally run at, say, 6.0. I'm running at 7.0 today, right? Without hurting yourself, right? When you outside, you know, you whatever your pace when you're walking, right? Like maybe you do a mile at like a pace of 16.0. Maybe you're gonna speed it up a little. You know, just things that you do that I'm gonna take out my frustration on using that mechanism, right? So to create that harmony you need, because like whatever the situation is, you can't address it right now, but at least I can feel good within myself and chalk it up. Matter of fact, listen to this. Let me skip something, and I should have had these in a different sequence because of what I'm looking at here. Watch this, y'all. Have you given yourself permission to make mistakes? Have you given yourself permission to stumble? Have you given yourself permission to fall flat on your face? Have you given yourself permission to have setbacks? Have you given yourself permission to fail? See, some of us, what we do, we'll listen to all the motivational videos. We'll look at certain athletes that we admire and not know what their lives are behind the scenes. We only see what's in front of the camera. So we really don't have a full, accurate picture of these people, right? So like I love me some Kobe, right? Everybody knows that. I love me some Kobe. But what I know about Kobe is in front of the camera. I know about him behind the camera in terms of all that work he puts in. But I don't know about when he was living. Obviously, God bless his soul. I don't know about his stress. I don't know that. He didn't want us to know that. That wasn't broadcasted. I don't know about his setbacks. I don't know about his shortcomings. I don't know about his failures. I don't know about that. So sometimes we put so much stake into what we see in front of the camera, and then we hold ourselves to that standard, and we don't know the full impact or the fullness of that individual. We just going on what we see on camera. Like it could be some folks on here. Oh man, Kafele. Oh, I love this dude, man. This dude, he bring that fire every Saturday, right? Blah, 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 blah. But you don't know me when this camera turns off, man. You don't know me. Right. So it's not to say that I'm like I revert to some miserable dude. I don't want to give that impression, but I ain't all this with this smile for 2 hours. You understand what I'm saying? So you get the on-camera version, the on-stage version, right? You get that, but you don't know me behind the scenes. So we can't. Watch the motivational video. I'ma be that, man. You don't know what these people are like once their camera shuts down. So you gotta keep that in mind. So I'm saying that to say, I'm gonna read it again. Have you given yourself permission to make mistakes? It's okay. See, we're talking about your mental and emotional stability. But if you've measured yourself against somebody on camera that seemingly does not make mistakes, that's enough to send you right to the therapy session. Right? No, they make mistakes. Oh, my mother liked this one. She said, "You good." Where it says Dolores Cushney on Facebook, right? My mom 90, man. She don't miss none of these either, right? So listen. Yeah, man. That's what we see on camera. Like I don't want to keep dropping names, man. Like y'all, listen. I'm an unapologetic Michael Jackson fan. I love the man. I'm an unapologetic James Brown fan. I love the man. But if you read anything on them, they got some stuff behind the scenes, man. Right? They have some stuff behind the scenes. But we see the on camera. So if you watch This Is It, when Mike was preparing for that tour, and you got to see him rehearsing, right? And then you measure it, because I was at a phase where I was measuring myself against that video. I was watching that video like it was some freaking game film for me, right? I was watching it on every flight. I was watching it. It was my game film. I was measuring myself against that standard he was setting for preparing for that tour, right? But listen, y'all, Mike has some stuff going on behind the scenes, man. James Brown has some stuff going on behind the scenes, right? We know that. We read it. So I'm saying, my wife said hi from her father. Tell Deacon Broughton I said peace and what's up, right? So listen, I'm saying to you, give yourself permission. Hear me. I think this is the most important thing I'm saying in these 2 hours. Give yourself permission to make mistakes. You are not a robot. You are not some AI creation. You are a human being, and human beings have flaws. Give yourself permission to make mistakes. Give yourself permission to stumble. Give yourself permission to fall flat on your face. Bam. In fact, let's do it. Bam. Right? Give yourself permission to have setbacks. Give yourself permission to fail. That's right. Give yourself permission to fail. What did Willie Jolly, one of my colleagues in this speaking business, what did he say? A setback is nothing but a setup for a comeback. Once again, he has a book of that title. Get it? A setback is nothing but a set up for a comeback. See? So I'm saying to you, give yourself permission. Give yourself grace. That's all I'm saying. Because we're talking mental and emotional stability in your building. Can you imagine you make a mistake and you dwell on it for the next month? You have a setback and you dwell on it? You fail. Like you failed something. And now you're going to dwell on it? Then you get back to your family, which is supposed to be your biggest support group, and you bringing that energy to them. So now it's time to go to dinner. I'm glad I never did this either, man. My wife and my kids can never say that I brought that kind of energy and brought the whole mood of the outing down. I didn't. But imagine, like, you bring that energy. Y'all going out to dinner to have a good time. You ain't bringing the school with you. You ain't bringing them kids with you. You ain't bringing the staff with you. You're the superintendent, the superiors you have that you're not getting along with right now, right? You're not bringing them with you. So give yourself, watch this, give yourself permission to be happy that you are with your family. That part ain't even in my notes, y'all. That's why this thing taking so long, because most of what I said to y'all ain't in my notes, right? If I just read my notes, I could have been done by 11:30. Listen, y'all. Give yourself permission. I'm gonna go deeper with this one. Give yourself to be a loser in a given situation. Woo! Somebody said, "Oh, he going far with that one." Give yourself permission to be a loser in a certain situation. Here's why. Number one, because I've been a loser in certain situations. So I went here and I figured it out. And I came back a winner. Let me give y'all this, man. Y'all got a few minutes, man. I see the numbers still good. Y'all got a few minutes, man. Can I give you this? Like what James Brown said, can I take him to the bridge? Bobby Bird said, yeah. Can I take him to the bridge? Some of y'all young heads, you don't even know what I'm talking about. James Brown said, can I take him to the bridge? Doc McKeever Jeter, you know what I'm talking about, right? Can I take him to the bridge? Yeah. Can I take him to the bridge? Yeah. Can I take him to the bridge? Right? So then he go to the bridge, then the whole beat changed, right? Y'all, let me. Hey, Central Higgs, I know, man. I should put on some James so y'all understand. Listen, y'all, I gotta take you to the bridge, man. Let me take it to the bridge. I gave this keynote one night. This is like, I was still a principal. I led my school that Friday, and it was in, I'll tell you where it was. It was in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I drove out there. It was like a 6 o'clock session. No, it was 7 o'clock p.m. So I worked that day. I led my school. I drove all the way out there. I was worn out. It was a teachers union. It was a teachers union out there in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Listen, y'all, I sucked. Whew. I will never forget that night. But the thing is, it was a 2-day affair. It was keynote at night for me, and then a 3-hour workshop the next day. So my pride got in the way. So that night, I sucked. Ooh, I was terrible. I don't know, outside of just being tired from, because I led my school all day long and then made that long drive and did that keynote. I just wasn't good. I knew I wasn't good. So check out what I did. I went back to my room. The conference was in this in the hotel. I went back to my room. I went to sleep. I set my clock. I don't even think my wife knows this. I don't think I told her. I'm not sure. I set my clock for midnight. So go to sleep. No, not midnight. 3 a.m. That's what it was. I set my clock for 3 in the morning. The workshop was to begin the next day at 10. So I go in the room. I meditate on how bad I was. I go to sleep. I'm just going to sleep. I got to escape from this. I go to sleep. I get up at 3. I don't speak till 11. That's what it was. 11 o'clock in the morning. At 3 o'clock, I started working on this presentation that I never delivered before. It wasn't going to be what I planned to do. And I worked from 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 to 9. I took a shower, put a bagel or something in me, and I psyched my mind up. I said, you will not fail 2 days in a row. Now, this is a workshop. I went in there and did that 3-hour session. Hear me, somebody. It's not normal. It happens from time to time, but it's not the norm that you get a standing ovation for a workshop or a seminar. You get standing ovations for keynotes if you get with that kind of crowd, and if your message was worthy. Like that Friday night, it was not worthy. Them people stood on their feet. They didn't know I was upset with myself. I didn't tell them that. They didn't feel sorry for me and now give me they stood on their feet, man. Woo! I will never forget that because of the time and energy and effort, blood, sweat, and tears that I put into that 3 o'clock in the morning. I got up and I just worked and prepared. I said, I ain't going down like that. I ain't going out like that. This going to be a good one. This was in around 2009 or 10. I said, this going to be a good one here. See, so, and I was able to bounce back from it. I took it to the bridge, y'all. See, so when we have those setbacks, this is my point. Yeah, that orange juice, you got that right. No popcorn that day, Josh, right? But that orange juice for sure, right? So here's what I'm saying. When you have that setback, that failure, that whatever it is, all right, know about it, but don't wallow in it like a pig in slop. Don't wallow in it. Some of y'all up north, you like, what do you mean by that, right? Like that pig rolling around in that slop, man. Don't do that, because that's what when you just dwelling on that failure, that setback, that's what you're doing. You wallowing around in the pig pen, man, right? So I'm saying to you, all right, process it, but now what you gonna do about it? See, I said, okay, I got this. And if it wasn't a 2-day affair, I still would have done the same thing. I would have said, okay, the next keynote, the next keynote. Oh, I'm coming strong in that one. Right? They wouldn't have gotten that, but the next audience would have gotten it. Right? So again, I got to read that one to you one more time. Have you given yourself permission to make mistakes? Have you given yourself permission to stumble? Have you given yourself permission to fall on your face, flat on your face? That's what I did that night. Have you given yourself permission to have setbacks? Have you given yourself permission to fail? Holding yourselves accountable for being amazing every day is unrealistic. I ain't got that in my notes, y'all. Holding yourselves accountable for being amazing, for being phenomenal, for being extraordinary, for being great at what you do is unrealistic. It's not real, man. You're putting unnecessary pressure on yourself. You can strive to be amazing, but I wouldn't hold myself accountable for being amazing. Because what's key is the topic, your mental and emotional stability throughout the course of the school year. If you're going to put that kind of pressure on yourself and you measuring yourself against people when they're on television or on your phone or your tablet or your computer, you better find a way to find out about these people when that camera ain't running, so that you have the totality of who these folks are. Because if your only standard is when they are on and getting paid to do it, you setting yourself up for failure. Because guess what? They fail too. They failing in things you'll never see. Don't forget that, y'all. Don't forget that. I'm almost done, y'all. I'm almost done. Next one, are you journaling regularly? See, I know that journaling thing sounds like work, man. But you got to journal your narrative, man. You got to journal your life. You got to narrate your life because you want to make reference to it. And not only making reference to it later, just the journaling is therapy, man, because you jotting it down. And while you're journaling, you also talking about what you're going to do next, right? What you're going to do next, like how you're going to resolve whatever the issue may be. Make sure you handle that. That's important. So are you journaling regularly? And within your journaling, you setting goals and you writing strategy. As we talked about with the blueprint, you're not just writing the narrative. What you going to do now? All right. What you going to do? How you going to do it differently? And then you make reference to it. Right. Let's go. Have you built me time into your work? Let me tell y'all something, man. Last week, I guess I told you this last week, I think. I can't remember what day I went. Yeah, I guess I did. I went to see the Mets last week. I went by myself. I sat in the fourth row behind the Mets dugout. And I got there early. I took the subway. I took the PATH train from New Jersey. That's our version of the subway. And then I caught the number. I had to take the number 4 to 42nd Street and then the number 7 to Queens, where the U.S. Open in Citi Field where the Mets play. And I was by myself, man. I had a great time. Ooh. I ate popcorn. I ate peanuts. I ate hot dogs. I ate French fries, all unhealthy stuff, right? The popcorn could be healthy, but it got salt on it. The peanuts could be healthy, but they got a lot of salt on it, right? But like the doctors say, aberrate. Don't get caught up into that. Moderation. Don't get caught up into that for the moment. Get caught up into what I'm trying to tell you. 9-inning game. I had a great time. Just me, y'all. Like, you know, me and my wife, usually it's the two of us. And it's not that I don't want her there, because I I'm one of them guys that doesn't like being away from his wife. I'm him. I'm one of them guys. Like, I just want to be with my freaking wife, right? So it's like I'm him, right? But it was nice having that me time. right? It was real nice riding the subway, man. And then I guess the icing on the cake was when I was leaving, and the young man sitting in the bleachers. I told y'all last week, I think. The young man sitting in the bleachers got up and said, "Principal Kafele, oh my God, you inspire me." That was the icing on the cake, man. Like you and it's 41,000 people in the stadium, and somebody know you. I've read your books, I watched the Saturday Academy, all that kind of stuff, man. I'm like, man, I was feeling like it's like so my point in bringing that part up is like it made the me time that much more special. Right, taking the selfie with him, all the people looking like they probably like, who is he? And see, like I wear my Mets jersey, but it doesn't have the name of a player. It says Kafele on the back with a number 1, right? So they probably like, man, who is he? Right? Is he famous? You know what I mean? So nah, I ain't nobody. I'm just a dude that come on Saturday mornings and act silly. Right. So people in my audiences, right, if they never seen me on here, they probably like, man, he different, man. When we saw him like live, he was all serious and loud. Now he laughing, man. And he wearing a baseball cap. Like, this dude's kind of weird, right? So listen, y'all, I'm being facetious, right? But listen, I'm almost done. That me time, that matters. Damn, Annette Face, and you still rocking, man, and Hassan and Yolanda and Peter, y'all still rocking all this time. Appreciate y'all, man. Listen, let's go. I'm almost done, y'all. That me time matters, y'all. Carve out some time. Do you. Just you. Got everybody else. Y'all, I get with y'all. I get with y'all. Give me a couple hours. Go to the gym. Go to the movies. Go to Barnes and Noble. I can't be advocating. I can't be promoting Barnes and Noble because they don't carry my books on their shelves. Like, no, don't go there. Right? Go somewhere else. number 1 leadership author in the whole ASCD, but won't carry my books on their shelves. Okay. So anyway, I got that off my chest. Go somewhere. Right? They only sell it online. All right. Got it off my chest. Okay. So find you some me time. Let's keep going. Have you learned? I got like 4 more. What Kendrick Lamar say? I got. Now some of y'all don't know what I just said. Some of y'all said, what is this man talking about? But some of y'all do know what I just said, right? So we just spoke to some of you, and others of you just ride with me, right? But there's a third group that said, how he even know about that song, right? I know y'all out there too. I'm looking at y'all, man. Hey, Charles Mills, I appreciate that, man. If I could be of any help to anybody, then I've done my work. I've done God's work. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Hey, listen, y'all. Let me go to this next one. Have you learned how to handle pressure and to work under pressure? Let's go again. Have you learned how to handle pressure and to work under pressure? In other words, listen, I'm gonna stop playing now. I'm gonna be real serious. If you can't work under pressure, principal leadership is not for you. Period. End of story. Drop the mic. If you can't work under pressure, if you cannot work effectively under pressure, this is not for you. And I'll say this for the assistant principal as well. I'll say this for anybody in leadership. If you cannot work under pressure, if you cannot work in a demanding environment, this is not for you. If you cannot work in a political environment, this is not for you. If you cannot multitask, this is not for you. If you can't lead diverse individuals, I don't mean racially diverse, I mean different people with different personalities. This is not for you. This is what leadership requires. And if you can't do all those things, or let me say this differently. If you can't withstand all the responsibilities of leadership and simultaneously be instructional leader, again, if you can't withstand all the responsibilities that come with leadership and simultaneously lead instructionally, then I'm going to say it again. This is not for you. I'm not mad at you. I'm not beating up on you, but it is my role on this platform to be honest with you. So if you can't deal, so like if you're not good with dealing with politics, because I'm going to tell you something. School is a political place, right? And there's all sorts of politics in the building. On the one hand, that you may be familiar with, but on the other hand, you may not realize. You may not realize that that custodian that is underperforming on your staff is the brother of the board president, because they have different last names and there's no reason for you to know about it. But all he know is I'm underperforming and there ain't nothing you gonna do about it, right? So of course you can, but then it might make your life more miserable. So then I'll go back to the question. Can you work under those situations? I've been there. I don't talk about stuff I don't know anything about. If I said it, I know about it, right? If things I have never talked about on here is because I'm not qualified to talk about them. How about that, right? If there's some topic on here after 280 sessions and I haven't talked about it thus far, either me or my guest, that means I'm not conversing in it. I know my lane. I know my boundaries, right? Because see, even though I bring on guests to talk about things that I'm not conversing in, I have to know what kind of questions to ask, right? Like I had a guest that was supposed to come on here and talk about AI in August. I started preparing months in advance because I don't know what to ask. I mean, I know the elementary questions to ask, but the questions to ask that are going to make you all better, I didn't know what to ask. So I started doing homework months ago. And then somehow we lost contact and she never came on. But then I ran into another AI person the other day. I said, look, I need you. So we're gonna get this person on here at some point soon. But my point is this. If I talk about it, it's because I know something about it. So when I say to you the politics, right? And you got people in your building. So you in them staff meetings. It's one thing to turn on the recorder because anybody could do that now. Everybody got a recorder on their phone. But it's another thing to just have spies in there. I'm gonna use that word, but I'm gonna use it loosely. Got spies in the staff meeting, right? So now, and the spy don't like you. They don't like what you stand for. So now they going back reporting to a whole mess of different people. You gotta be able to deal with that. That's part of the work. That's part of the work. It comes with the territory. Ain't nothing you could do about it. So the question is, can you work under that pressure? Can you work effectively under that pressure? That matters. See, so again, have you learned, the operative word is learned how to handle pressure and to work effectively under pressure. If you sitting here and you being honest with yourself and you saying, ooh, man, this man hitting me all day. But that one right there, I'm not good with some of that pressure. Okay. I'm not asking you to quit your job. I'm saying that's a skill that you're going to have to develop. You're going to have to give intentionality to being able to work under pressure. When you got central office breathing down your neck, that report was due, it's due tomorrow, but it's like it was due yesterday, right? Okay, you got to get it done. But in the meantime, you got 5 parents that want you right now. But in the meantime, you got situations going on in the school with young people. But in the meantime, the politicians got some stuff going that you need to address. In the meantime, you got stuff coming from the state, right? In the meantime, you got challenges at home, right? And in the meantime, your car just broke down, right? I mean, it just keeps going. It's endless. Can you work under that pressure? If you can't, you got to develop it. You got to develop it. And a lot of your development of that pressure goes to all these things I've been talking about today in terms of how you align yourself. You cannot, like certain people you might like them. Like this is a very likable person, right? But you can't, your alliances can't just be likable people. He's really fun to be around. She's really, no, you need some people around you that's going to help you to grow. Some people that are going to challenge you. Some people that are going to push you. Some people that ain't all yes to you all the time. See, sometimes we real comfortable with them yes people, man. Yes. They yesing and they praising. Everything you say, here's their response. Amen. Everything you say, amen. Amen. Praise God. Hallelujah. I mean, it's real. I have it. It's in my life. Right? So sometimes it's them audiences, man. You got them church people sitting in them audiences, man. Hallelujah. Praise God. I'm like, man, this good for me. I mean, it's good for me. Get me out. But what about the one that's gonna push me? Be a little bit better, right? That's where the real growth comes in. But you got to be able to work under pressure. I'm almost done, y'all. Check this out. Do you get a sufficient amount of sleep? How you gonna come in there upbeat and you tired as hell? You can't sustain that for but so long, right? So I'm saying to you, and I'm going against everything that I did. I learned from it. I learned heart attack. That'll wake you up, right? You only got to give me one. I ain't trying to have another one, right? So you got to get that sleep in. I ain't talking about no artificial sleep either. You got to get that sleep in. For me, and this is just me, 6 hours will do it for me. I don't need 8. In fact, I cannot sleep 8. I've tried. My body just can't do it. I'm sitting there and I'm wide awake. Like, what are you doing? You ain't falling back to sleep. But you got to get that rest, man. See, listen, don't be one of the ones you out here, you trying to motivate your colleagues. Man, you sleeping too much, man. Man, come on, man. Us grinders, us hustlers, we ain't sleeping. If you want to be sleeping, your competition, they up active, getting ahead of you. Don't do that. Don't do that. It sounds good. It really sounds good. I could probably make a living just giving that speech, right? No, get your sleep because your body has to recover. Your body has to recuperate. Your body needs sleep. Get your rest. Make that a part of your routine. I know you want to stay up all night on Monday watching Monday Night Football. Some of you, not all of you. I know you want to watch watch whatever your late show is, as far as them night talk shows. I know you want to get some laughs, but listen, man, and you're going to be at the school at what time? 7? Right? So you get up or like Josh goes to the gym, so I think he gets up at like 4:30, right? And so go to bed at midnight and get up at 4:30, and you're going to sustain that? Nah. It ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work, y'all. So don't do that. Condition yourself to rest. The body needs recovery. I mean, your car gets rest. That car ain't out there driving by itself, or even you driving it all night long. At some point, you park that car and you come in the house. That car resting. But what about you? Some of us, and this is real, some of us will take better care of our car than we will ourselves. We will keep it clean. We will keep it polished and waxed. We'll keep all the fluid levels in there, right? We as soon as we hit 3,000 miles, we'll get the oil change, but we won't do the same for ourselves. We'll go overdrive for ourselves. We'll skip meals, right? See, we won't let the car skip a meal. When that thing say 3,000, that odometer, we right there getting the oil or change it ourselves, depending on what our skill set is, right? When it's time to change the transmission fluid, when it's time to change the washer fluid, when it's time to put on gas. Some of us will ride all the way to E, but that one who puts all that energy into that car, that one ain't going to E, because they understand the dirt that gets into that gas, that fuel line before the car cuts off. So they will get the fuel before it gets to E, right? So they'll give the car so much attention, so much love and affection for the car, but then they'll neglect themselves. Those people exist. If you're a school leader, you can't be that person, or you'll be doing just like I do. You'll be telling your heart attack story, right? You'll be telling these stories, because I tell my heart attack story all the time. You'll be telling that story. I'm trying to prevent you from having to tell that story. You got to take care of you. I'm almost done, y'all. I got 2 more. Do you have an exercise regimen? Do you have an exercise regimen? I don't need to talk about that. You already know. I'm getting ready to go outside here in a little while. I'm going to do my 3 miles, right? Then tomorrow, I'm going to do early morning 3 miles. Then I'm going to watch the Giants at 1 o'clock Eastern, and then I got a flight. Don't get me started. A flight on the first day of the NFL, first Sunday of NFL, and I got a flight. Don't get me started. Anyway, I'm going to miss Buffalo and Baltimore. Oh my God. Right. So anyway, let me get back on focus. So last one. Do I maintain a decent diet? Do I maintain a decent diet? I don't need to talk about that one. Y'all know that. You've been tuning in all this time. The newbies, go watch some of the old videos. I've been talking about that for the longest. Tammy, you still here? I thought you was long gone. I appreciate you. Listen, y'all, I went a little longer than planned. We going into hour number 3. But I gotta say this. I didn't get to this whole page, right? So it's more than that. I didn't get to these 2 pages, right? So we'll do that in October, which is my birthday month. I'm turning 65 in October 22nd, and I'll be in Jamaica for the birthday. So we'll be broadcasting out of Jamaica, Montego Bay, on my birthday week. So don't give me no happy birthdays just yet. Not till October 22nd, 65, right? So anyway, listen, y'all. In my mind, I'm closing. This was probably the most important session that I've ever done, in my mind. Someone else might say something else. I don't know. Matter of fact, do me a favor, y'all. This ain't ego. This is data. If today's session was worth your while, if it resonated with you, if it was useful, and this is not ego, this is data. Give me your favorite emojis. If it was not what you needed it to be, then don't give me the emojis. Just keep them to yourself, right? So, but if it was, if you benefited from today's session, because to me, I've never done a session more important than this one. Not to me. All them instructional leadership sessions I've done in the past, particularly in the first year, which I need to get back to and reinforce, because it's been 5 years and some change. I need to get back to some of those, which I will, because we're gonna break down this whole book. I just haven't gotten to it yet. Oh man, look at all them emojis, man. I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate. Well, since y'all doing that, let me get mine. Hey, Principal Kafele, you hit it out the park. Yeah, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate you. I see you, man. Y'all check out. I got my man on here. Y'all check out the work of Bobby Morgan, man. That's my man. That's one of the young brothers on the come up. 2nd year principal, but he's also a speaker, consultant. He's got a message. So check him out. Just go right to his Facebook page. He's on Facebook right now, I think. Let me see. Where's he at? man. So many scrolls. I think he's coming to me on Facebook. If not, he's on YouTube. But check him out, Bobby Morgan. I can't find you anymore. But check him out on, there he is. He's on Facebook. Check him out. He's one of them young brothers on the come up, man. And he's doing phenomenal work. But yeah, and we'll be back next week. So let me do my rundown. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate those of you who hung in here for all this time. I appreciate that. If you came on late, let me just say this. Please go back and watch the monologue. It was long, though. I'm not even going to make a separate video of it. I don't think. You never know. Then again, you never know. But it was long. I only planned for it to be a max 15 minutes. It was about 45 minutes. I had a lot to say. It's called I Quit My Job twice. Quit my dream job twice. So go back. As soon as we go off, everything will be there. You can watch it on any of the platforms. Take a look at that. Appreciate that, Tammy. Appreciate that, Dr. Taylor. All right, y'all, listen here. Next week, I got fam coming on, meaning AP and New Principals Academy fam. That'll be week 281. I got Jasmine Harris coming on from California. She's fam, been fam a long time. I got Kenya Williams coming on. I know she's using a different last name now, but I forgot what it is. I got Josue Falaise. He's my homie from East Orange, and he's fam as well. I got the three of them. They're all principals. In fact, Josue went on and became a consultant like me, but he was a long-time principal. This is going to be a powerful session. These are three powerful people. I don't know what the topic is going to be yet, but I'm really excited about them coming on. And they're all fam of the Academy. In fact, they're fam. I think they're fam of all of our the Fantastic Four, right? So tune in next week at 10:55. But first, tune in to Sean Hurt at 10 o'clock. Facebook Live, 10 o'clock Eastern. Then Create and Educate with the superstars, Dr. Sheikah Houston, Dr. Tammy Taylor at 10:30. And then join me at 10:55. I'm kind of thinking I'm going to move to 11 o'clock. I've been kind of playing with it because I feel like that 5 minutes cuts into Create and Educate. So I'm strongly considering, so just keep that in mind, moving to 11 o'clock instead of 10:55. We'll see. And then Sunday, PGP podcast with Josh Tovar and Dr. Madi Moreno. That's me trying to speak Spanish. Madi Moreno. I don't know. I can't roll no R, so I'd make it sound like a D, right? So that's Sundays at 5 o'clock. Hey, y'all, if you don't have this yet, do yourself a favor. Get yourself a copy. What is my value instructionally to the teachers I supervise? Get yourself a copy. Right. This like today's session was what I consider the best one I've ever done. Most important, I'm not sure, but best I've ever done. And probably the most important. We're talking about we talking about getting you through the year mentally and emotionally. What are you doing to get yourself through the year? And I still didn't cover 2 pages. So there's more. But then I say this is the best book I ever wrote. This is the most important book, most important and best. Get yourself a copy. Right. Get yourself a copy. Go to Amazon right now or go to ascd.org. I ain't sending you to Barnes & Noble. If you go to Barnes & Noble, just ask them, do me a favor, say, how come you don't carry Baruti Kafele's books? And then they'll go to their computer and they'll say, oh, no, we have them. We have them online, and say, no, I don't mean that. Say, why don't you have them on the shelf? Right. Just ask them that. See what they say. And then let me know. I've asked 1 million times, and they gave me some nonsense. So anyway, make sure you subscribe to the AP and New Principals Academy YouTube channel. There are 24,400 subscribers right now. Should be close to 24,500 now. Maybe it's there. I don't know. I didn't look lately, but subscribe and then hit the notification bell after you subscribe so that you can be notified whenever I go live on this channel, which is every Saturday for now at 10:55. Visit principalkafele.com for some of my other additional resources. And then lastly, your diet, your exercise, and your virus precautions. Let me end on a sour note. I watched a hearing the other day. The Secretary of Health and Human Services. Yikes. Yikes. Hey, y'all, take precaution. Take precaution because of yikes. Take precaution. That's all I'm going to say. Take precaution. Hey, y'all, have a great week. Have an extraordinary week. Have your best week yet. Peace. Peace. Thumbs up. Now cock that fist all the way back. Count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Bam! I'll see y'all next Saturday for week 281.